Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's the Nerd Talk crew back with another episode of Nerd Talk, well, episode 168, and hope you guys are having a great day. I'm here with my co-host Tyler, and my little brother Marquise has come to join us today to talk about these awesome topics today. What's going on, you guys?
Not much, man. I had the day off. Me and AJ watched Hobbit: Desolation of Smaug. Then I took a very lengthy nap, made myself dinner, and I'm ready to go.
So you end up not going to see it?
No, I'm going tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I thought you
I
were
didn't.
today.
I didn't go today because AJ said he was free to do Hobbit, and I'm trying to
Watch all those
get
movies.
through those because, yikes.
Yes, sir. Marquise, what's going on, bro?
Not much, man. Not much. Just been chilling for most of the day. Went out and did a couple things. Just been chilling. Off day.
Sure. Now it's been a crazy couple of weeks. I haven't been able to make a ton of videos, especially hunt videos. You guys didn't know I got into a car accident, and my car is currently in the body shop. Hopefully by the end of this week, I will finally have it and I can be mobile. I'm so sick and tired of not having my car. And then, of course, work has been insane. It's been freaking insane. Oh, my God. But I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here with my guys and talk about these awesome topics. Let's go ahead and get into the first topic of the day. And, of course, we're talking about Zootopia. Dropped their first teaser. Second teaser.
Second.
Yeah, because the first one was like, a minute or something like that.
Okay.
This one is like, I guess it's now, I don't know if they say official trailer, official teaser trailer, but we're just gonna call it trailer 2 because it's the second trailer Disney's released. My thoughts on the first Zootopia, I really enjoyed the first Zootopia. It's kind of underrated. I feel like no one really talks about it. It's like one of those moments like it's like the Planet 8 trilogy. When someone talk about it, it's like, oh yeah, that movie's really good. But it's not really like brought up. Someone had to bring it up for people to agree. Oh yeah, that was really good. But I really enjoyed the first Zootopia. I saw it late as well. I didn't see it when it first came out. So for them to make a second one, I was kind of on the fence because I feel like the first movie kind of stands on its own. I don't really need a sequel to this movie. And I understand why they're making a sequel because it made a decent amount of money. The first one did make a decent amount of money. So why not just cap off and make a second one? My thoughts on the trailer. It looks cute. It looks cute. We get a little essence of the story and what they're doing. It's great to see our two main characters back together and see what the shenanigans they get into. It's just very interesting to see the different animals and what they do if they were actually living in like a Zootopia place. That's the one interesting thing about the movie, seeing what they do with all the different animals, the animation and all that stuff. Man, it looks cute. I really I like the trailer.
Zootopia, man. I got around to it, I think, 2-3 years ago when which I still can't believe I did it, but when I went and watched all the Disney animated movies that were out at the time, I watched Zootopia for the first time, and I liked it. I think when the movie has its dramatic tonal shift and it starts going for social commentary, I was like, this feels like a totally different movie, but it's still good. And now we're living in an era where people ask for sequels to things and that we've never got them, but because Disney can't be creative to save their life, they say, oh, hey, people wanted a sequel to this 6 years ago. We're going to do that now. So here we are. We got Inside Out 2, I think it was last year, which is, it feels 2 years ago, but last year, which admittedly was amazing. I loved that movie.
Yep.
What's up, Steph? So now we're getting Zootopia 2. And we're getting Incredibles 3 sooner rather than later.
Toy Story 5.
That's next year.
Oh my.
But Zootopia 2. I think this trailer, as Alex said, it was cute. It was a cute trailer. They didn't show that villain from the teaser trailer in the cape, so I don't know where he's gonna show up. But I feel like the teaser presented one thing and this trailer presented another thing, but the trailer was cute. It was a fun little trailer. I like, Judy and the fox being in, partner therapy.
Yeah.
Having to solve a case, their partnership. Like that's cute, you know. Um, I don't know if they're gonna have like similar social commentary like the first one or another element of social commentary. I don't know, but um, I hope it's good. I hope somehow, you know, God willing, maybe it's as good as Inside Out 2 was. I don't know. Because Inside Out 2 was amazing. I think it was like my second favorite movie that year. So
Nice.
I hope it can be as good. But it was a cool trailer. I liked it.
All right. Yeah. Funny story. I actually saw this movie day one back when it came out when I was living in, I believe, Akron, 2016. And
So
this was
you
my
went to the
favorite.
theater to see this?
I went with uncle. I went with our uncle. We were both hyped for this
Man, I
movie
don't
because
even
we
remember
loved.
that.
We actually loved the feeling of what this movie was doing because of how it was kind of breaking breaking a bit of ground with animated movies a little bit. How it was kind of showing like you said, like Tyler said, a social construct between how animals treat each other if they lived like us, like how we treat each other, how humans treat each other. That's why. And when I saw this trailer, it brought me back to that feeling again, that interest of like, whoa, how would how would animals still treat you? How will we bond together? How will we work together? And seeing how they act. Because think about it, how you don't know how you would work with someone you never met before, or you just met, and now you guys have to work together for foreseeable future because y'all did an event together, y'all saved the world together, you know. And maybe that is that 1 inch time. Maybe that won't work going forward. I like that movie's hinting at that because they have things to work on. How Judy is a talker. She talks before her partner, and she talked the whole time. And I'm like, whoa, I never noticed that until someone pointed that out in the movie. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
right.
they
Right.
told us that Judy has problems she has to work through, and she has depth to her. I'm like, okay, that's I like that. That's why I'm excited for that. I will be seated for this movie like I was back when it came out. And I am mad it took this long to get a sequel because it should have came sooner than later. But now that Disney is finally realizing that some of their properties back then were more successful than the property they're making now, capitalize on those properties so we can continue forward instead of new IP, new IP, new IP, nothing lands. What about that one back then? Oh, 10 years later, finally get a sequel. It doesn't land because we waited too long. But
yeah, that's why I was thinking that.
I don't know.
Sometimes I
It
think
depends.
it depends.
yeah,
It all depends.
yeah,
Because
it really
Inside
depends
Out
on the
2,
title.
Inside
So
Out
like I
2
said,
went on to be like the highest grossing animated
but
movie of all time.
thinking about that, Inside Out 2, funny
That was
story,
almost 9 years ago, right?
that Zootopia? Yeah.
Inside
No,
Out.
from Inside Out to Inside Out 2. That was like 9 years.
But it's like the same construct because 2016 was 9 years ago as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're kind of trying to, they're, like I said, they're picking up on those old IPs that were really good. I saw Inside Out as well, day one as well. And I didn't see that in theaters because I was going through my own problems. When I finally did see it, I bawled my eyes out. It brought me to tears at certain points. And I was like, yo, this is one of my favorite animated films as an adult. So definitely excited for this trailer or this movie because I feel like I'll connect with it on a deeper level as I'm growing older with these movies and they're touching me in ways that I've never been to. Not say it like that, but you know.
We get what you mean. So yeah, like I said, I kind of agree with you. The timing, I guess, the timing is kind of correct because everything was going on in the world, like they can touch on certain things. Who knows? They can touch on things like COVID or like Black Lives Matter or stuff like that. A lot of that stuff can be intermitted into things going on in their life. Obviously, we have the main story of what they're doing, but those elements could still be thrown into the movie as well. So yeah, hope you guys saw the trailer. If you guys have seen it, let us know what you guys thought about it in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and move on to our another topic, another trailer. Welcome to Derry, the prequel It series, coming to HBO Max. Like I said, they just released another trailer. Tyler thought it was another teaser, but the trailer, like what, 3 minutes long? And
it was beefy. Can I start? I
go ahead, bro.
I actually like the remakes of It. They are very I'm not a scary movie fan. I won't really go to the university to see a scary movie, but those were films I was like, I actually want to see these because they're very intriguing. Stephen King is a writer that I'm very inspired by because I'm also a writer. And the way he writes his films, the way he writes his books aren't the best, and the way they end aren't the best. But he has very intriguing ideas, and to see how they're capitalizing on the backstory of Pennywise and Derry and everything, and how this town is. There's a very mysterious aspect about this town. Um, this trailer intrigued me so well because of the one scene that really boggled me. I had to watch the trailer 3 times. I wanted to pick out everything I saw, and the one scene that really sticks with me. This the part is like there's a kid getting jumped, and everybody is walking around, not doing anything. But the black mom comes out and is like, "Whoa, what the heck? Hey, yo, stop!" And then I think about back as the trailer keeps going. There's a scene that connects with that where the kids all stand up and look at her, and it's like something like with their eyes and their faces are like what the hell? Like, and then no one's still doing anything, and I'm like, this is going to be something that's gonna like tickle my brain, and I want to see what's this show about because a lot of like imagery and details that I'm like, I want to see this. I want to really see what this show is. Like I said, the It movie is really good. I like the chapter 1, chapter 2 aspect, and now that we're going back to the kid aspect, the kid solving things, I feel like they're going to be really good in this movie. They already gave me a good idea of what our kid actors are going to be and our adult actors are going to be. And I don't know any of these kids. I've never seen these kids in anything. I don't know if they're all brand new or whatever.
I think they're all new actors.
No, one of the kids was in 28 Years Later.
I didn't see that. Okay. I didn't see that this year. So I meant to, but I didn't have time to go to the theater.
It's good.
But no, it looks very intriguing, and I'm going to I'll see it. I'll watch it. You got me intrigued. I'll see episode 1 when it airs, whenever it's airing this year.
Yeah. October.
Yeah. October.
Okay.
Yeah.
Halloween.
The appropriate time to release it.
Appropriate time.
So yeah, my thoughts on it. Obviously, I love the first It chapter 1 and 2. I love both movies. I love It chapter 2. I really don't care. No one says I love that movie. Now this series right here, the one thing I can say off the bat is I love the way they're marketing it. I love that we haven't seen Pennywise. We seen glimpses and him in the shadows. We seen obviously in the trailer he like sticks his arm out, but you're not seeing him in full body. They're not showing him at all. Because I would think the reason what makes Pennywise scary is what he can make you see. He shows your true fears and bring them to light and show them directly in front of you. Yes, the clown is hilarious. It's scary to look at, but what he can do to manipulate your mind is what's scary about him. And I kind of love that they emphasize everything about this trailer. The Derry town itself isn't evil within itself. Like I love that there's a kid literally just trying to get away. He like, don't take me back there. I want to go. And of course, he's probably going to get manipulated, and Pennywise is probably going to take him. Yeah. But like just the thought of that, like a kid saying, "No, F this, I am out. I can't deal with this anymore." Is a pretty dope idea. The fact that we got I think it's going to be 10 episodes, right? 10 episodes. Hopefully, they haven't announced the episode, but let's say 6 to 10 episodes. That's a decent length to really dive deep into these kids and what they're going through. Hopefully, the kid actors are pretty good. 6 episodes, okay. Hopefully, the kid actors are good, and hopefully, they have deep enough stories and good camaraderie with one another. Hope they mesh with all the adult actors and stuff like that. But I'm intrigued. I'm really intrigued with this show, and like I said, I really like this trailer.
So I guess this is, I guess it's all about perspective, I love It chapter 1. I love that movie. Other than the CGI, I love that movie. It chapter 2 to me was fucking garbage. I hate that movie. Every time I think about going to rewatch it, I remember A, how bloated and long it is, and B, how awful the ending is. So when they were announcing, we're going to do a prequel show to It, I was like, why? This is nonsense. We got the first trailer a while back.
Of course, because we probably know how it ends. We don't know how it ends.
We got the first trailer a while back. I don't remember if we talked about it, but it did absolutely nothing for me. I was like, this looks so generic. This trailer, you can tell how much I cared. I literally just watched it 2 minutes ago, and normally I'm the one telling everybody else to watch trailers. I literally
Yeah.
just watched this today. I will say this trailer was better than the last trailer. I thought I saw some things. I was like, that looks cool. I'm excited to see the kid from 28 Years Later in this because I thought he was fucking amazing in 28 Years Later. So I'm excited that he is in this. Um, there's some cool imagery in here. You know, I think it's shot pretty well. It's got HBO money. If you make a show from HBO
Mhm.
and it's technically not a 5 out of 5, I don't know what you're doing.
Mm.
Right.
But again, it's just it's kind of hard for me to care. It's like what are we gonna see here that we didn't see both in the two movies that we got before and the 1991?
Yeah.
What are you gonna show me? You know, is it just going to be, oh, it's more Pennywise shenanigans? It's like, I mean,
Yeah. That's
that
that's
could be
basically what it's gonna
fine.
be.
It could
That's
be
basically what it is.
fine, but you know, I'm glad. I actually didn't know it was 6 episodes until I just checked right now.
Mhm.
I'm so happy about that because
Yeah.
Yeah,
9 weeks it is.
yeah,
It could have been. It could have been 9 or 10, and we'd be like, "Oh, I don't know about that." 6 seems
No,
right.
like I kind of.
Yeah,
I kind of hope they would drop it all at once. Just drop it all at once, guys.
me
yeah.
too.
Just give me. Yeah, let me watch it one time,
We
like at
binge it.
least like binge. Yeah,
But you know, the show, point blank, if it sucks, it sucks. I really just
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I'm
yeah.
For
just
sure.
I
For
think
The
sure.
it's gonna
trailer
suck?
for yeah,
No, because with HBO, there's like you know 9 out of 10 times a show coming out of HBO is quality.
yeah.
Yeah.
So even something
We.
like House of the Dragon season 2, that
Yeah.
shit sucked, but the
Yeah.
production is
Production. Yeah.
incredible.
Yes.
The quality was there. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes. For sure.
you know, at best, I could say, hey, it was better than It Chapter 2. At worst, I could say it was a waste of my time.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about it.
Okay.
Sure. For sure. For sure.
Hmm.
So yeah.
All right.
That's our thoughts on the Welcome to Derry, the second trailer. If you guys have seen it, let us know what you guys thought about it in the comments section below. Let's go ahead and move on to this fire trailer. Yes, the pun was
Uh-huh.
intended to Avatar Fire and Ash. Now I had the thankful enough. I went to see Fantastic Four. I got to see it in the theater. I didn't get to see it on YouTube. And
Uh-huh.
you guys out there, can you guys just do this? Can we see it in theaters before you guys release it on
That
the
would be
public?
awesome.
Because watching it on the big screen is funny because my theater went dark first, and I'm like, oh shit, am I not getting this trailer? And then of course it started. I said, oh
Same thing.
yes, I'm getting it. I thought I wasn't gonna get it because I still haven't gotten Odyssey yet. I've been waiting on that trailer. I'm guessing that's just only in IMAX, I guess. But man, the way this trailer starts, it has the same type of vibe like how The Way of Water did. Like it's basically just showing us images and how it looks and what characters are back, what new characters we have, and what can I say? It looks fantastic visually. It looks fantastic. It's James Cameron's Avatar. It's Pandora. It's
Mm-hmm.
we've seen this place already. I don't think they really can blow our minds anymore because of what he's already accomplished with those first two movies. Now, the main thing I have the question is, how's the story going to be? How is these characters going to be? What is going to be the resolution of this movie? Why are certain characters coming back? Why are things happening? That's what we're more interested in. Of course,
Right.
it's going to look great visually. The 3D is probably going to be fantastic. We know those things already. So now let's take a step back and say, okay, what are you delivering story wise, James Cameron? That's what I'm more interested in. Like I said, the trailer looked fire, of course, because of visually it looked good. But I'm thinking about how is this story going to play out. But overall, I thought the trailer looked amazing. Of course, the music sounded really good. We only got certain lines of dialogue. Some of the new clan looks pretty dope. So I guess we'll see what we'll get. Obviously, we'll probably get one more trailer at least at best, two more at best. Because James Cameron don't really show a lot of trailers with his movies. He mostly does his three. So yeah, I thought the trailer was pretty good.
Avatar, man. I love the first Avatar. That's one of my favorite movies ever. I'm one of you. When it comes to Avatar, it's either you think it's overhyped or you think it's amazing.
Yes.
I love that movie.
I'm with you on the amazing part. So,
The Way of Water. When I first saw it, I liked The Way of Water. I had several issues with it, but I liked The Way of Water. As I've rewatched it, it's actually gone down for me. I find that movie to be insanely boring at points. I think it starts out very good and it ends pretty solid, but I
Yeah,
think the writing at points is rather annoying,
it's that middle
and
section.
some of the
It is that middle section.
characters some of the characters range from really solid to I want them all to die in a fire. I it's mainly, not the daughters, but the sons.
Kids, the kids,
Yeah,
the
I
yeah.
kids, and
fucking hate those kids so much, bro.
the kids.
And we're getting more of what I don't like in this movie. But it's Way of Water is just a frustrating movie to me because I watch it and I'm like, I want to like this and I should like this because I love the first movie, but it's a movie to me that and some people say this about the first movie that it doesn't have a very strong script. To me, the problem with Way of Water that the first movie doesn't have is that it has a story that is driving it. To me,
Mhm.
Way of Water is a movie where it's just visuals, spectacle, water. What's the story? Fuck me, I don't know. And it frustrates me every time I watch that movie, and it doesn't help that the movie is fucking over 3 hours for no reason.
It's long. It is pretty long.
So
It is.
we were building the excitement to this one. I wasn't really excited for. I was excited hearing like, oh, we're gonna get the new Fire Clan, and that was cool. It's like, okay, you know, you saw the trailer. I will say this as a trailer, it's a great trailer. It's solid. I loved seeing it on the big screen in IMAX. It was awesome. But I would be lying to you if I watched this trailer and felt anything but cool.
Right.
I can't give you anything from me other than it looks cool
Right.
because the visuals to me, when you went from the first movie to Way of Water, you saw the difference in the
Hmm.
visuals.
Yeah,
When
for
you go
sure.
from the Way of Water to this movie, it's the same visuals. And I'm not saying they're
Hmm.
bad visuals. Everything looks amazing. But that wow factor is not there anymore for me with this franchise.
Hmm.
It's not. Maybe if I see it in 3D, it'll be different. The trailer, I mean. Obviously, I'm going to see the movie in 3D.
Mhm.
But just that wow factor is not there for me anymore. Other than, I mean, it looks cool, but it's just not like I'm in awe. It looks amazing. Some of the character stuff here, I'm not excited to see back. I'm excited to see the new girl, the new Clan lady. I hope her being a threat allows Natiri to actually have something to fucking do in this movie versus just watch her damn kids in the Way of Water. I'm not
Yeah,
excited to see Stephen Lang's character back.
she
I'm
had
over
barely anything to do in that
Yeah,
second movie. That's
nothing to
crazy.
do in that
Besides the
second
third
movie.
act, I just thought about that.
Besides that third act, she
Stephen
didn't do
Lang.
anything but basically weave baskets together at her hut because she didn't want to be there. She didn't want to be with her people. She had to,
Yeah.
she was forced away.
Um,
Like I said,
we've Stephen Lang. I'm not excited to see him back. I'm over his character. The Water Tribe people, Kate Winslet. I'm not excited to see them back. They were boring as fuck in the last movie. I'm not excited to see them back. Um,
it's funny. Yeah.
the Sky people being the threat again. I'm over this shit. I'm over it. Enough. Let the freaking Navi people be the villains. That's
Yeah.
who I
Yeah.
care about. I don't care
Yeah.
about the humans anymore, bro.
Yeah.
What is the legitimate? What the fuck is their beef? Like, I'm sitting here trying to figure out what is their problem. Like, them coming back in the Way of Water was like, yeah, they were mad for the first movie. What are you mad about now, bro? You're being led by an idiot in
Mhm.
Stephen Lang who has this unnecessary beef with Sully for what? The whole daddy issues with him and the son. I'm so fucking I cannot believe that we're left with the son that is the most annoying. We're left with the kid that's the most annoying. I can't believe that. I don't know, man. I wish I could be more excited. I really wish I could be more excited. But at the end of the day, it's an Avatar trailer. You know what you're gonna get. If you love The Way of Water, you're probably way more excited for this than I am. If you didn't like The Way of Water, which there are many people, for those that want to say that I complained, there are a lot of people that didn't like The Way of Water.
Yeah.
If you didn't like The Way of Water, you probably feel the same way I do. Visuals, cool. Do I care? No. And I know the story's probably not going to be interesting, and this movie's going to be over 3 hours for no fucking reason other than, hey, look at my visuals. Give me billions of dollars.
And it will probably get $1 billion at least.
Mhm.
Tops. It'll get $1 billion for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about that, though.
Okay. Trying to bounce off Tyler there with the. I didn't know you felt that way about The Way of Water, but I mean, for one, I enjoyed I'll let me talk about the trailer first because what I get from this trailer, yes, these visuals look exactly like The Way of Water. This feels like I'm getting like how like I would say like how like when there's like a show that goes away that comes back for every season, but the quality gets better and better after every season, but it takes a while for that season to come back, like how Netflix shows are, but the quality kind of goes down or whatever. Avatar, when I first saw that, I was like, yo, I'm blown away. This is like one of the most visually pleasing movies I've ever seen back in 2009. And over the years, it still is one of those movies that I'm visually surprised this came out back in 2009. The Way of Water, when I saw it in theaters in 3D. It was one of the most, again, visually pleasing movies I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen water look that great in CGI ever. And I'm like, you sold me. I'm a fan of this now. Yes, the story wasn't the best. And now that I have rewatched it, and I rewatched it for more of a visually pleasing movie versus a story driven movie, because the story, yes, is crazy. It's got a lot of stuff that is already out there just smashed into it. Like there's Tarzan hidden in there, there's Pocahontas. There's a lot of like nuances that are from older things. And I'm feeling with this movie, the next one, for them that they could, and I hope they do, they don't do that, and they really tell a story that is of its own thing. And I hope it's not like a act one, it's the humans are the villain, then act two, it's the other people are the villains or something like that, and then act three, it's the humans come back and it's like a triple threat type shit. I hope it's not that. If it is that, that's cool. But if it's, just tell me a good story. That's why I agree with Tyler on that. But overall, this trailer does have me hype. I will go see this probably Thursday night because I am off that Thursday. I have to work that weekend, so I will probably see it day one. I know that's kind of crazy, but I will probably try to see this in 3D as well. So I love that first one. Not the first one, the second one, seeing it in 3D. Great. First one, seeing it at home and watching it over the years, still great. I probably could watch these movies back to back just for the visuals. For the story, nah. But yes, I agree with Tyler. The story could be there, definitely better. But I'm just excited in general just for the visuals. And I mean the characters. I connect with Jake more than anybody. But he just needs a better role than the second one. The second one, yes, focus on the kids, and the kids are very shallow and they could use more development. But let's hope this movie does that for them. That's why I feel like they have a center focus. But if it doesn't, then yes, this franchise I feel like will tank because it will, like Tyler said, people didn't like it, people loved it. It will make its money, but that's what's going to make it succeed because it will make its money.
Yeah.
And I mean,
because even if it gets less than the second movie, because the second movie did it cross 2 billion? If it crossed 2 billion, I mean, if they get like, let's say they get $1 billion, it's not a flop.
No, it's not.
It'll
be successful.
Love to make $1 billion.
That's once it's $1 billion, it's successful.
Less, but I just think the hype over these movies, I think it's to the point where this movie will make money regardless, even if the story is terrible. It's gonna make its money regardless because of the name and who's making it.
Right.
It already got people already pre-ordering tickets already. People are already ready to get their tickets for this already. So, but yeah. So that's our thoughts on the Avatar Fire and Ash trailer. Hope you guys got to see it in the theaters for it released on YouTube. Of course, they have released it on YouTube, and I've watched it previously on my TV because usually when I watch trailers, I don't really like watching them on my phone. I try to watch them on a TV, at least the biggest TV I have. So So if you guys checked it out on in theater. So yeah, that's enough for those topics. Let's go ahead and move on to our main topic. Of course, we're talking about the Fantastic Four. I've been having it stuck in my head. Oh my god, I've been having the theme stuck in my head since I saw it. It's like, what the heck is going on? Michael Giacchino, why did you do this to us? It's the Batman. Dun 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 dun. That was this. Like, oh my goodness gracious. We got to give a shout out to the GOAT, man. We got to give him he's one of the GOATs now at this point. But yeah, we're going to give our thoughts on Fantastic Four: The First Steps. We're going to give our initial thoughts, and then we're going to go into spoilers. You want to go beat by beat. The movie's pretty short. It's under 2 hours, so we could probably go by scene, talk about favorite moments.
I thought it felt longer, but I didn't realize it was under 2 hours because the movie
it's about an hour and 55, I think. That's about
by for me. I didn't realize that it was that. That short. Wow.
Let's go. I guess I'll go into my thoughts. Like I said, I didn't even get to make a review. I've been really slow making reviews this year, but you guys see my Letterboxd score. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I thought this movie was incredible. The casting, that's the one thing I'd say. We got to give shout outs to the casting. Everybody threw shame on all the casting, especially Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards. And right off the bat, he's my favorite iteration of Reed Richards. I think he embodies everything that the character is supposed to present in live action. What they do with his character, they shows that he has these great elastic abilities, but his main power is his brain, and they showcased that, and I'm really happy they did. Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, like, come on, is she not the heart of this story? I mean, is she not probably the strongest character out of all 4 of these characters? I thought she was great. I thought she was amazing. Joseph Quinn as Human Torch. I was kind of skeptical. I loved him in Stranger Things season 3, but man, he nailed it. He nailed it as fucking Johnny Storm. They also made him smart. Like, I love that. Like, he wasn't just that guy. He wasn't just a tool. He actually is smart.
He had something to do. He didn't just stand around like the past. Like, he didn't, I don't remember him. I don't remember in the other ones. Did he do anything in the other ones? Like, not really. So
no, he was like I said, he was in the other movies. Like I said, I love Chris Evans, but he was the tool. He was the tool.
Yeah,
he wasn't there to showcase any type of scientific or any type of that type of ability. But I love that they showcased that within all the characters. I can't think of the actor's name, but obviously the guy who played Ben Grimm, he was also great as well. He looked great visually. I was kind of, my guy from the Bear. Yeah. I swear I thought I wasn't gonna like the way he looks on certain scenes in the trailer. It kind of threw me off, but watching him in motion it sold me. It sold me. I love the camaraderie between all the characters. Each characters play so well off one another. Mark Shackman was probably the best person to make this movie because he obviously he did WandaVision, and you can feel that type of vibe in this movie. Very 60s, very old, very very retro vibe, and you definitely feel that with this movie. Like I said, Michael Giacchino, the score, amazing. I love the pacing. I thought this movie was very tight. I'm very happy. Obviously, we'll talk about things they did cut off some stuff out, but I do feel like they made this movie very tight and very quick. And people are like, "Oh, we got to stop making these movies under 2 hours." No, every movie doesn't need to be 2 hours and 30 minutes, you guys. Especially a Marvel movie, especially if it's just a simple story. We don't need 3 hours. Give that to the Avenger movies and the big event movies. These other these first movie, these small movies don't need to be 2.5 hours long. They just don't need to be. Overall, I really, really love this movie. Like I said, I might be double dipping on this when it comes out physically, like for sure. Like this movie's already in my top 10 MCU. It's in my top 10, hands down. So that's my thoughts.
It's no secret that the MCU has been very rocky since Endgame. Rocky because we've had bangers in between.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna be that person.
Hits and misses.
I've defended several of the quote unquote misses.
Miss after miss after miss.
I like Love and Thunder a lot. The
I
Marvels I
hate I
enjoy.
hate Love and Thunder. I'm gonna be honest about that. I hate Love and Thunder.
Cool. I like Love
Wow,
and Thunder.
I do too.
Um, and I've been very optimistic with this franchise. I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm done. I'm not watching them in the theater anymore. They don't deserve my time." And I'm like, they. I've always lived by the thing of if they want to, they can. And I said this when Thunderbolts came out. I said that I was very happy I stuck around because if I didn't, I would have just ended up watching Thunderbolts at home and
Mm-hmm.
just saying, yeah, it was good versus
Right.
seeing it in the theater opening night and being like, yo, but wow, that was fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and watching this movie, just the atmosphere before the movie started, this was probably the best theater experience I had this year. Just but
Mm.
everyone was so excited. They played the special IMAX intro that they made for specifically for Fantastic Four, and we all went crazy when it started. It's just like this is what Thunderbolts did, and I don't care what anybody says. Despite it bombing, this is what Thunderbolts did. It got a lot of people
Yeah,
back,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
and
for sure.
now I really like Thunderbolts. I have some issues with it, but I really like Thunderbolts. Then we got this movie, and I was watching it. I've seen it twice. I saw it Thursday and I saw it Saturday with my brothers. And the second time I just watching it, I was like, this is why I love both this franchise and this is why I love superheroes and shit. I absolutely loved this movie. The way people talk about Guardians of the Galaxy 3, that's how I feel with this movie. The way people, oh, Guardians 3 is the best thing we've gotten since Endgame, blah, blah, blah. To me, this is the best thing we've gotten since Endgame. And I've never said that about any of the projects that have come out. I've just said, yeah, they're good, and that's it. I love Multiverse of Madness and No Way Home, and I never threw the title at them like, oh yeah, that's my favorite thing since Endgame. This movie, I absolutely loved this movie. Other than really one thing, everything about this movie to me was fucking incredible. The cast, the production, every single thing about this movie was just it embodied Marvel, and it's why I love, you know, it's why I love this shit, you know. And I said I was like, what comes after this could suck. It very well could.
Hmm.
But this movie is so self-contained and on its own, and I love that it is because again, if
Mm-hmm.
everything else after this sucks, I will still have this movie and be like, yeah, this is its own thing, and I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah,
I loved it. I fucking loved it. I was expecting to like it, but I loved
same,
it and then some.
Mm-hmm.
same.
And I was gonna go see it today, but I changed my plans. I'm going to go see it again tomorrow. I absolutely loved this movie, bro. Uh,
I might go see
I
it again
still
next
have
Tuesday. I'm
it.
gonna see it next Tuesday.
I still have it at probably like number 2 for the year right now. It's only because Sinners is above it. I have to rewatch Sinners to see how I feel about it on a rewatch. I think I would just put Sinners above it only because my one negative that I have with this movie, Sinners does not have. So, but
Yeah.
I loved this movie unapologetically. I've seen people say, "Oh, it's not that good. Oh, it was okay." I don't give a fuck. I love this movie from start to finish, and I'm so excited to watch it again. But I loved it.
Right.
For sure. Marquise.
Well, Tyler saw my Instagram post. I walked in there on Friday. I said, let me see what this is about because I loved everything I saw through the trailers. I loved the vibe of this movie. The aesthetic of this movie was something I'm so intrigued by this that I dare say I was more excited for this than I was excited for the other one and Superman. I mean, and I'm like, all right. I went in and I my eyes were glued to this screen the entire time. Like, there's one thing that threw me off. One thing that we'll talk about in spoilers. Um, that was like, okay, that's just odd, but everything else was just great quality. It was quality to me. Like the quality and the actor, everything just blew my expectations. I had low, but my expectations were beyond anything I could ever experience, because I'm like, yo, this is what I've always wanted to experience leaders for the Fantastic Four, as that cast, as those characters. Because like their last iterations, except for the one from '04, or was it '05? I forgot what year it
Oh
came
five.
out.
That's the
Um,
yeah. 05.
yeah,
We just did a watch
'05.
on for it.
Um, that was the one movie. I'm like, I always remember that movie because I know those characters. No, I know that one. Everything out of that is not memorable at all. Silver Surfer. That's the only character I remember from that movie. Everything else from that movie, I don't remember. That other one, I even researched into that movie. It was supposed to be something totally different. But
Yes, it
they butchered that movie. They destroyed that movie and made something I think is one of the worst pieces of media you can ever watch, and it just doesn't make any sense how it happened. But this is what we all have been waiting for, and I gotta say, this movie's a 10 out of 10 to me. This is a 10 out of 10. There's probably, maybe I could do a rewatch or two, maybe it'll go down a point because of the thing I have a gripe with, but I give this a 10 out of 10. I've loved this, and I agree with you. There've been a lot of hits and misses, and I mean even Thunderbolts. I gave that a 9 for me because I've been going through a bit of personal things in my life, and Thunderbolts hit a point where again it made me realize I got to tackle some things in my life that I have not tackled before because of a certain character expressed something that I vibed with so personally, and I was like, yo, Thunderbolts is one of my favorite Marvel movies of all time now. Like it's in my, like I agree with you, Alex. It's in my top 10. I have to reorganize my list because of how much now Marvel content there is, movie and show. But I'm probably gonna separate the two because the shows are, I don't
Yeah,
care for
I
them
did that.
anymore.
On my letterbox, I separated the shows between
I'm
the
I,
shows and
I'm
the movies.
like, I care for some. I don't care for all of them. But when it comes to the movies, I'm more so sticking around for the movies, and I think Thunderbolts is the reason that this is the quality we're gonna get going forward, because Thunderbolts was very good. Yes, it was mildly short. There were some parts I wish that were more fleshed out, but I am glad for what it did, and I'm glad for what we'll probably be seeing going forward, hopefully. And I mean, what the next one was Spider-Man, and
Yeah,
I
next
mean,
one up is Spider-Man. Yeah,
and
that's the next one up.
I'm just looking forward to. Let me just see a trailer. That's all I'm looking forward to. But going back to Fantastic Four, I mean, I mean, it's again great movie. Dare I say? I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say that pun. Everybody's like, don't say the pun. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's great. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal movie. So
For sure,
that's
for
my
sure.
thoughts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, let's go ahead and that's done for our review. Let's go ahead and jump into the spoiler section.
All right.
Tyler, man, go ahead and start us off, man. How does the movie start, bro?
So we got our 1960s Marvel intro, which I was wondering how they were going to start this movie. I was like, I
Right.
know it's going to be themed somehow, but it wasn't really a big extravagant one. It just played the little opening notes of the theme and it popped up and was it. Opening scene we get is of Reed and Sue. They're in the house, and Sue is doing a pregnancy test, and Reed is looking for something, and she reveals that she's pregnant. And immediately with this scene, you see the chemistry that they're all gonna have with one another, and I just
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. You know, similar to how I said this with Superman, that the actor, like watching the movie, I wasn't looking at actors, I was looking at the characters. That's
Characters.
how I
Mhm.
felt with this movie.
Yeah.
I
Same.
felt
Yeah,
like
for sure.
everyone was just incredible in this movie. You know, I've seen people say, "Oh, Pedro Pascal wasn't great." I'm not hearing none of that shit.
Me
I
neither,
absolutely
actually.
loved Pedro Pascal
Sure.
as Reed in this
Sure.
movie. I seen people say, "Oh, I love the whole movie," but Pedro Pascal was the one problem. What's the problem? What's
Pedro
the
Pascal
enlighten me?
fatigue. It's fatigue. Pedro
People are
Pascal
thinking
fatigue.
he's in
He's in
everything. Basically.
everything.
I don't give a
He's in
shit what the
everything.
fatigue
I
is.
don't
He's
care
fucking
either.
good.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't care.
What?
either.
How many projects has he been in this in the 2020s? How many? Like I don't
Y'all,
know.
bro, y'all are
We're
acting
done.
like he's Ryan Reynolds,
Yeah,
to
like
where
that. Yeah,
Ryan
yeah.
Reynolds shows up in everything and he's Deadpool in everything. Pedro
yeah.
Pascal is
He's
not
not.
the same in
He has
everything.
range. He has range. That's all it is. He
So
has range.
I'm not hearing none of that. Pedro
But
Pascal was fucking incredible in this movie.
I agree with that.
This scene I thought
He
was
was
very
Mr.
cute.
Fantastic.
I loved how Reed was like, "Oh, we've always talked about having a baby," and Sue was like, "Well, talking was never really the problem."
Right.
That was cute.
A lot of adult
Um,
humor.
so they go and we go into the scene from the trailer when they're prepping to make dinner. The thing, man, I was really concerned about him and his look in the trailer, but watching the movie it didn't bother me. I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, he looks like the Thing. He looks
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I thought him and Johnny had great chemistry. You know, it's not the same thing as the '05 one to where they're like getting on each other's nerves. I
They
think
hate it. You kind of hate him. You
yeah,
kind of hate him. He hates Johnny.
it's more of a sibling rivalry in this
Yep.
movie, and I
Yeah.
thought it was cool how they handled it.
Yes.
They go to Sue and Reed walk in, and they're like, "You're late." What do you mean you're late? They're like, what do you mean you're late for dinner? And they were late by like 2 minutes. He's like, "We're late by 2 minutes," and they're all acting all awkward. And Ben looks at them, and Ben is like, "Oh, are you pregnant?" And she was like, "Yeah, we're pregnant." And we get the scene from the trailer, and when Johnny's like, "Oh, you guys are gonna be the best. You're gonna be the best mom ever," and Reed, "You're gonna be the worst dad ever, but it's okay because we're gonna be the best uncles ever."
Right.
So then we get a cute little ABC montage. It's a news montage from this talk show that they're doing where they're presenting the Fantastic Four, and they're showing their origin, and they're also showing them throughout the years because this is year 4 Fantastic Four,
Mm-hmm.
and
Coincidence?
it's showing that they're showing all their villains. They fought the Mole Man and stuff. I thought this was cool. I thought this was really neat. I thought it was a really cool way to show their origin.
I agree. I've seen people online talk about this. No, we need to see an origin because that's just Marvel being lazy. Blah blah. I said no, we don't need this, guys. We don't need this. And I'm sorry, I don't want to be the one saying we've already seen this before, but we have already seen this before.
We have already seen it.
Twice already. We've seen it twice. We don't need to see it again. Marvel doesn't even need to do it. And a montage sequence makes sense because we don't need to see these events. We can see glimpses of them. It looks cool to see them use their powers in different ways and different villains and stuff like that. I found it very intriguing. And you get a nice score and all this stuff. You get the bells and whistles when it comes to a montage. Yep. I mean, to me, it gets us to the main story faster. Like the origin is not the story. The main story is what's going on in the middle. The origin is delaying us from getting there. The fact they did a montage, I loved every single minute of this montage. I thought it was awesome.
Yep. Yeah, the montage was really. Yeah, like I said, if you paid attention to the montage, it showed them how they had different costumes and everything. So you got to see what they did going forward. And I agree with you. The origin story isn't needed because it's already told in previous movies. You already know how they get it. It's the same thing.
And it kind of explain it.
They already explained what happened. They stay. But he said it. They go to space. They ran the cosmic energy. Then they came back and they were changed. What else? Y'all want to actually see that happen? It doesn't have to. Y'all don't have to.
And something else that they did with this movie that, sure, we didn't see it actually happen, but something that I like that they did with this version versus the other ones is they don't make them getting their powers this horrific thing. And I'm not talking about just Fantastic. Obviously, it was horrific in that movie. But like, even in the '05 one, they make it like, oh, it's this curse, like we're monsters or whatever.
Yeah,
I like that this movie, and again, we didn't see how they reacted when they first got their powers, but seeing them all these years later, they're okay with it. Like, sure, Ben has his moments.
insecurity.
But he's not miserable.
Yeah, nah.
He still lives his life. He still has his family dinners.
Like he's famous. He walks around because he can. Because he's comfortable in himself.
I like that they've embraced being people with powers. They're happy to still be here, happy to have each other. I appreciate that it's not so fucking grim and miserable. It's like, yeah, sure, we were dealt these bad cards, but we still have each other, and that's what's important. I love that. So we jump a little forward, and Sue is pregnant, and they're trying to figure out they're trying to figure out if the baby's gonna have powers, and Reed builds this machine to find out if the baby's gonna have powers, and they're baby proofing the house too.
Oh yeah, that whole montage was
another great montage.
So like this movie hit beats are like, yo, that I didn't expect Reed to act like this. I'm glad he's acting like this. It's out of character, but it is within his character because he's always in here. He's not the power. He's the brain of the whole thing. I'm like, I love that his brain is thinking like everything needs to be baby proofed, and when he does it, it hinders a lot.
Baby proofed the whole city.
But
baby proofed the whole city.
I thought that was cute.
Hilarious.
So we get this scene where he's doing this. I mean, it's kind of a sonogram, kind of not, but like basically he's just trying to see what powers the baby has, and he still can't conclude it. But Sue is just telling him like, listen, the kid is gonna be fine. It is what it is. I don't think it is what it is when she finds out. But so what happens after this?
Not the sidebar. I was doing research on the character that their son Franklin Richards. Yeah, they're not ready. They're not ready for this. Just know that,
bro.
We're not ready for this.
Yeah,
we're not ready for this. No one. If they're gonna have a really have to explain him because his powers are very, very different. So
they Johnny has a meeting with Reed, and it was basically to discuss new spacesuits. And Reed is like, bro, I'm not doing this right now. And Reed is working on some teleportation device where he transports an egg from one end of the room to the other. He's like, hey, I did that. It's cool.
The power go out though.
Yeah.
And then Johnny goes aflame.
That was funny. That was cute.
I was like, this is great. That made me smile when that happened. It went dark and I was like, huh? He said, Johnny? He said, yeah.
He does that a couple times. There's one time where there's that power. His hand is the flashlight. He's using his hand.
I love
flashlight.
I love that. It's like they figure out ways to use their powers to get out of situations like that because it shows creativity with their abilities as well. So,
how do you guys feel about the 1960s aesthetic? Because I loved it. Everyone said it was like the Jetsons. I'm like, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's exactly like the Jetsons.
What I got. That's literally a lot. It reminds me of a live action Jetsons movie, like with Fantastic Four mixed in there. Because I love the costume design in this movie. Like I'm like, we're in a time. I got transported back in time but in forward and future as well because there was so much stuff. I'm like, I'm like, I see monorails that are like, I see floating cop cars. I'm like, but they're in the 60s though, so I'm like,
someone said like, even though I wasn't alive in the 60s, it felt nostalgic. It's like, it took me back. I don't know, like I loved it. I thought,
like I said, it transported me to a time I thought I felt like I lived there. I'm like, yo, this is good.
I kind of love how I don't want to say, but how sound stagey it feels. Yeah. Like it feels like they built this on a back lot, and I love that for this movie because that's what this kind of feels like. Most of the movies back in the 60s were filmed on back lots and stuff like that. Because we only get a shot a couple streets. Obviously, we see Times Square, we see the one street Ben always walks down, and we obviously see the Baxter Building and stuff like that. Like some of those, they feel like sets, but not in a way where it's like it's a set. I feel like that's the way it's supposed to feel because we're in the 60s. And I agree. Definitely feels like the Jetsons. I love that they're it's kind of like, I would say it's probably a little off, but like how the Batman animated series is like, it's supposed to take place in the 60s, but there's a lot of futuristic stuff in it. You know, they got flat screens and technology and things that shouldn't exist in this time frame, but it still works aesthetically. And I love that everything about this. I mean, you would think the Herbert robot wouldn't even exist, but the fact that there's certain things that he used, like he has a whole tape like recorder thing in it as his face when he changes out the certain modes he has. Like that's pretty dope.
It's like I think the term for this is like a retro futurism or something like that. It's like you're using retro, like you're using technology that's so retro, but adding a futuristic spin on it. That's what that's what this whole aesthetic gives me. It's like something like it's out of something like you feel like you live there, but it's something so like distant in the future. You know, with the way they still drove regular cars, but there was flying vehicles everywhere and robots helping and all that. And I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool.
So they're at family dinner and they hear like a bunch of cop cars and shit, and they're like, "Oh, wait, we gotta go." They're like, and Reed is like, "No, that's for us." And he's telling them how he baby-proofed the city. He was like, "Yeah, I assembled like a whole police force to make sure they've got all this covered, so that way we can deal with the baby." And I'm like,
right.
See, that's another thing. It's like I love that they do everything for each other. They don't care about anybody else. Well, not, you know what I mean? Like they're not, everything they do is with the intent of the family and nothing else. And I love that. So then they're looking up at the sky and they see like comets falling from the sky. And I was watching this and I was like, he baby-proofed the city. He didn't baby-proof the galaxy.
Right.
And Johnny goes to see what's going on, and he sees like a shooting star, like, you know, flying across, and they all end up in Times Square. And we see Silver Surfer. We get the scene from the trailer. I really liked Silver Surfer. Julie Garner, man. She's having
nailed it
a year. Like shit, I don't even know. When's the last time I seen somebody have a year like this? She was in Wolfman. She was in this. She's in Weapons that comes out next week, which looks fucking incredible. She was great. I really liked her a lot as Silver Surfer. You know, I thought the CGI was cool, and I thought she was great. We'll talk about the best sequence in the movie with her later, but she was amazing.
I herald your end. I herald Galactus. Like, oh man, the way she delivered that line, bro.
I will say I was a little like I want to say Star Trek, but I was jaw dropped at how great the CGI looked, because I remember I was seeing a lot of chatter on Twitter and shit like that, like the CGI doesn't look great. The one from
bro, people are fucking idiots.
I was like, what are you talking about? And I went back and I said, oh god, they don't know. They don't
because they were taking pictures from the fucking movie and zooming in on them and being like, "Oh, it looks so pixelated."
Yeah, I'm like, bro, you
fucking idiots.
You guys don't know. Y'all just wanted to just create the online discourse. But no, this is not. But Silver Surfer.
And listen, truth be told, because I rewatched Rise of the Silver Surfer last week, the CGI on him is good. It is admittedly good.
I agree.
But this looks good too. So shut the fuck up.
For sure. For sure.
So Johnny goes and chases him, Silver Surfer, and she says something to him, and then she knocks him off the board, and we go back to the house, and they're trying to. Reed is trying to track where she's been, because he can't track where she's going because she's too fast.
Right.
And he tracks like, I guess the trail of planets that she's been to, and he sees that they're like all destroyed. And he's like, well, that's weird. Well, how is it that she's been to all these planets but they're all destroyed? And he puts two and two together, like, oh, her and Galactus are connected. Okay. And they go to do something, and Johnny's like, oh, she said something to me. And he was like, well, what did she say? What happened? He was like, well, she said it in her dialect. And they're like, well, what did it sound like? And like, what were the context clues? And he was like, oh, it was
It was
nice. It
warm.
was
It was
warm.
warm.
And then they start
Warm.
making fun of him, and
Except
they're
it
like,
was nice.
"Oh, I
It was
see what's
warm.
happening. The
I love that
crazy
scene.
hot silver chick, and now Johnny's in it. I get it.
Like,
I was like, I
like
loved it.
Johnny's in chicks in space, and now there's a chick that's actually from space that I'm into. I was like, oh my, yes, okay,
I
I
loved
see,
it. I
yes,
loved
like
it. I was like, that's Johnny Storm. I loved it, and they just start making fun of him for it. I'm just like,
Mhm.
I loved it. So, um, they're trying to figure out what's going on, and basically they come to the conclusion of, like, well, let's just go talk to him.
Yeah.
Fuck it, let's just go talk to him. And the
Just trying to make peace.
Reed was already working on like another spaceship or something. So he was like, "Well, we have it. Let's fight it. Let's go."
Right.
So they talk to the press and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go talk to this dude and see what's going on." Um, so we get a whole montage of them, working and stuff. And Reed shows Johnny the new suits, and he tells him, he's like, "Oh, you can't be on fire too long, or else you'll burn through the suit." And Johnny tells me, he's like, "I take back every single bad thing
Yeah.
I said about you to myself."
to, my,
To my stomach.
to myself, it was hilarious. That was like the trailer, but like still, like seeing it again, I was like, their camaraderie is just great in this movie. The chemistry,
Yeah.
all the every actor in general. Like even though I didn't see Pedro. Well, no, they did. They actually did interact a lot. Everyone just it was just great all together. Like everybody just meshed well together. These weren't the actors; they were the characters. This was the Fantastic Four. That's why I think the movie's so great.
Yeah, they nailed that. They nailed that. So they go up, they launch, and they go up, and Johnny's like, "Woo!" They go flying in space because they put an emphasis on it. He's like, "Yeah, he loves being in space."
Yeah.
Which I don't know who would love being in space, but
Yeah.
I mean, cool, I guess. Um, so they're trying to figure out where Galactus is at, and I can think they go back to like the planets where she was at, or they like go to another planet, and they're like, "Oh, here's this planet," and then you see it like glowing orange. They're like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah.
And it's Galactus eating the planet, and it like
Mhm.
blows up, and they gotta maneuver around it. Then Silver Surfer comes into the ship, and she's like, "Oh, Galactus will see you." And I think Sue was like, "Oh, I'll go." And they're like, "No." And she's like, "No, you're all going. Let's go." Um, so they're walking, and Johnny goes to talk to her. She's like, "Oh, what was the thing you said?" And she was like, "Oh, like hold your loved ones, or something like that."
Well,
And
you forgot. Did you forget where they get pulled into the ship and
Yeah,
go,
like they went
this happened after or before where he scans her womb, like
no,
Galactus
that's
scans all
that,
the team. That happens after, right?
that was before
Okay, so
they
yeah,
scanned the ship, and then her
oh yeah, then her womb,
focuses
then
on
yeah,
her womb. Yeah,
yeah.
so they're walking to Galactus, and the ship opens up. I am so sorry that neither of you saw this in IMAX,
yeah.
because when this scene happened and
Uh-huh.
Galactus's eyes glowed, I
That's
was
probably
looking at the
right.
ceiling. I was looking at the ceiling. I was like, "Oh shit, Galactus, man!"
Finally.
For those who know, I was really excited for this movie, but I had one huge but with this movie. I was very actively annoyed at the fact that Galactus was the villain of this movie, because I did not like how you were taking an Avengers level threat and putting him in this small, very small movie, because we just did that with Kang and that shit was awful.
Yep.
So now we got this. And I was very hesitant. I said I was sold on everything in this movie except Galactus. The look was fine. That was not my problem. He looked amazing from what we saw of him. I was like, I won't be either sold or not sold on this until I'm seated watching the movie. I've now seated and watched the movie twice. I will tell you, they fucking killed it with
Yes,
Galactus.
yes, they
I
did,
thought
son.
everything with Galactus in this movie, I thought was honestly amazing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Yes, bro.
it made it to a point where when he comes back, it's gonna be great, and I
I can't
can't
wait.
wait.
I
But
can't wait.
I think they absolutely
Oh
nailed
yes.
it. Ralph Ineson, I had never seen. He's in The Witch, and I love him in The Witch. He's amazing. Um, I thought he was incredible as the voice of Galactus, and I think he did
Yes.
so. I don't know how to what
Did-
capacity, but I've seen him in a practical suit. I don't know where that was in the movie because to me, while the CGI was good, he was CGI'd the whole time. So
Yeah.
I don't know where he would have been, but he was great nonetheless.
It probably was just for like reference more than anything, for so they could get it the real detail down. Because the way as detailed as Galactus was, I feel like he was straight ripped from the comic and put
Hmm.
on screen. Like even the
Yeah.
actor in general, like even the face shape, the voice, the eyes. I guess
Yes.
I wish I would have saw this in IMAX. Because how you describe that makes me just think like you said you were looking up at the
And,
ceiling,
and it's
and
to the
then
point where I'm normally this doesn't happen, but people have gone on Twitter and be like, "Man, they weren't kidding when you said see this movie in IMAX," and it's
Yeah.
showing what you see in the widescreen aspect ratio versus when
mhm,
you see it in IMAX. That shit is like this,
mhm,
Yeah.
and it's
mhm.
real. That shit is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
I loved him. I did. So we get this scene where they meet up with Galactus for the first time, and Galactus, in a nutshell, basically tells them, "Oh, you have something I want, and if you don't give it to me, your ass is grass. I'm destroying the planet."
yeah.
And they're like, "Well, what do you want?" And he's like, "Oh, I want your kid." And they're like, "What, brother? What?" He's like, "Oh, basically, he's gonna cure the hunger that I have to eat all the planet," which that might have been true, but to me, that's a crock of shit because to me, it seems like Silver Surfer was like, oh, he doesn't really enjoy eating the planets. Bullshit. I'm convinced he does.
But
But they're basically like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. That's bananas. We're not doing that. And then you see his eyes glow, and he looks at Sue, and she fucking goes into labor.
bruh.
I said, what the fuck? I was like, oh shit. I was like, I didn't know he could do that. That's
Right,
bananas.
right.
That, like I said, that shot particular. If I was gonna bring that shot up, is that his eyes is glowing and you see his real eyes.
Yeah, dude.
Like that shot
Dude.
alone, just like I
Dude.
was saying that Galactus is a little terrifying in this, especially the
He's a
scene where he's sitting in his throne. Like when they go see him
mhm.
and he's sitting how big he is in his throne, he looks terrifying. He looks
This
terrifying. Like
but
I would be flabbergasted to see this
yeah.
giant being sitting on this throne.
Yeah.
Like I don't care in the world. He knows
Right.
I'm coming to eat your planet. I don't care
It
what you
was to
say.
the point, like the way they shot, the Celestials and Eternals and
Mhm.
Erisham, all of that was big. No, that was puny compared to this shit.
Dude. Like
This
that
dude, I was like, oh my god.
like no, when I thought when like that when he appears on screen, I'm like, bro, this is like I kind of felt more terrified from when I first saw like Thanos appear on screen because he didn't come off as terrifying. Thanos come off as like when he came off. I can't really describe it because I got to really rewatch all the scenes where we saw Thanos. But really, this first showing of Galactus, yeah, this is like I said, terrifying. Very very just the name Galactus, like it's just it he embodies that, and I'm like, yo, yeah, that back to
To
Eternals
put
with
it into context,
oh
this
yeah, I seen this, yeah, I seen this
this
on I
is
seen this.
regular widescreen. This is
That's
IMAX, bro.
crazy.
I'm telling y'all. Y'all gotta get on that.
But we don't have no IMAX theaters around here, do we?
Well, y'all gotta
No,
move.
we'll have to go far
I'd
in
have to I'd have
Ohio.
to go like down to Florida.
We have
Probably down
one.
to,
I think they have one in Columbus. Ohio.
So
but yeah, no, that's great.
Sue goes into labor and they're immediately there right now. We gotta get the fuck out of here, brother. This is nuts. And Silver Surfer starts chasing them and they kind of fight her in this little thing. They knock her into a bunch of lava and she comes out of it. That's shot in the trailer. That was really cool.
Awesome show.
They get back in the ship and they're just at this point they're just scrambling to get the fuck up out of there. They're like, they have no idea where they're going. They're just like, bro, we need to go. And they're like, oh, we don't have enough fuel to get home. And they're like, oh, we're gonna slingshot off a star essentially to get to where we have to go. So they get to this little checkpoint thing that launches them, which it reminded me of the thing from the prequels in Star Wars where they go into the ship and then they launch from there.
Yeah, faster and like FTL.
So they go warp, and then Silver Surfer is on that ass. Going.
Well, the fact that they don't make it, they crash into it first because they have to they gotta level it out to get in there, and they man, we ain't got time to level it out.
He said just get in, and they got in, and once they clicked, they launched. But Silver Surfer was right there, like she almost had. Then they went away. And
we lost her. Nope, no, we didn't. No, we didn't.
She's going so fast that she's able to follow them in warp, and I was just like, that's fucking crazy.
It was great.
And awesome. they were trying to shoot her, and because they were in warp, the bolt was not going to her. It was going around,
right?
And they had to kind of curve it to get her out. So they eventually hit her. And I don't know how this worked. So they hit her and she falls off the board, but then she just kind of comes back up through the board.
Back on the board,
It's weird because they knock her off the board and they're like, oh, so she's not connected to the board.
Right.
But I mean, she kind of is connected to the board because she came back up. So I don't know. I don't know how Silver Surfer shit works. So I don't know. But she comes back up and they're like, oh, we could basically knock her into a black hole and then dip. And desperate times, I guess, because they're like, hey, fuck it, do it. Let's go. So sure enough, they
risk their own lives because they can get stuck in that black hole.
Yep.
They find the black hole and they knock her in there. I thought this was really cool. The effect of her getting dragged into the black hole reminded me of Terminator 2.
Yeah.
When the T-1000 goes into the fire and you see all the shit coming out of him.
Yeah.
That's what that reminded me of.
Yeah.
But it was great. This sequence is probably an all-timer for the MCU.
Yes. I would say this is probably the best scene in the movie. The fact that we have Silver Surfer chasing them through the whole portal, right? Them trying to get home. They don't have enough fuel. So they have to think of something to get them back home. And then we have Sue literally giving labor with no gravity.
Right.
And then they ask Sue to freaking make their ship invisible as she's in labor. And she does it.
Right. It's crazy.
Like, what? I love when the thing starts. We need to strap her down. She's like, no, you won't strap me down. You're like, all right, I won't strap you down. Like, I just thought that. And then you got to think, like, Reed is the one keeping everyone at bay. Like, he's sitting there calming Sue, holding her down with his own body, thinking of ways to do this, do that. It's like, okay, yeah. Pedro Pascal's that nigga. I don't care what nobody says. He's that nigga. He really nailed it as the character.
Range. You got range, man.
And I can only imagine what Sue was going through. She was going through a sped up labor. It wasn't even a natural labor. Right. It's like, who knows if she was actually due or not. But it's like, yeah, no. I'm playing baby doctor today. Let's go.
I need him now.
But she gives birth and we get our CGI abomination of a baby.
Yeah.
Which they said if we use the real baby, I call cap.
Bullshit.
I call cap, bro.
We'll talk about my one negative now. Yeah, that baby looks awful.
Yeah, it is. I agree with Tyler.
Yes, because there's like two scenes where it's actually there.
Yeah, like the scene where Pedro is talking to him, saying, "Hey, like, what are you? Like, you have powers? Tell me right now." I thought that scene was real cute. The baby they got for those moments was really cute.
No, and then it was a girl baby too, not a boy baby.
Wow, that's hilarious.
It was a girl baby. They were switched out between scenes. They had two different ones, and then one of them was a girl. So I'm like, wow.
That I didn't like that baby. It looked really bad at points. It's worse when you have no. It didn't look as bad as that.
No, I went back and saw how bad that looked, and I said, how did this even get past production?
Yeah, that's worse. That's way worse.
didn't make it to this
Um,
final draft. Like
because the CGI baby looked bad, but at least it still looked like a baby. In
Yeah.
Twilight, that shit,
No.
oh yikes!
that looked horrible. Horrible.
But it just, I don't know why it was CGI'd so much, because like, and it looked worse when like the thing is holding the baby, because you're
Yeah, right?
smashing two things of CGI together,
Mhm.
and it looked like the baby was floating on Ben.
Yeah, on his like he like that. Yeah, I noticed that because when I was watching and they finally got back to they got back to Earth and everything, and they're holding and Ben's holding Franklin. I'm like, all right, that's my gripe right there. That don't look good.
Maybe
That
it
don't
looks
look
like
good.
that because Ben is holding him though, because he's. I think
That's what I
most of
just
the time
said.
he was
That's
CGI.
CGI with CGI, and they could
Yeah.
mesh them together well. Like
Yeah, that's probably why he really looks like that.
it
But I
just
can agree though, the CGI
off.
does that. It looks very wonky in that moment.
It looks so wonky in that
For
moment.
sure.
I was like, yikes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like, that
I
baby.
thought this is the part where the movie was gonna go downhill for me. I was like, oh, I don't like this part. I don't like this at all. But then like it didn't. It still stayed the same. So I
But
was
like at the same time, like listen, the baby looks bad, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, it's a baby.
yeah,
Right.
Like I can't really fault you that much because it's a baby. It's
Right,
not like you're CGIing a full grown kid,
Person.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
you know, but at the same time it still looked like shit. Anyway, they get back and they're doing this press conference immediately, which is kind of fucked up. As soon as they land, press conference. It's like, brother, I just got back from space.
Yeah, and they must not have been gone very long because everyone was still there waiting for them to come back. How long did it take for them to get from there to Galactic ship and back? What, 20 minutes? Like it was like 20 minutes, like literally the runtime of the movie. Like what runtime?
Warp speed, so
right, that's true.
So they are like, "Whoa, how did you guys beat Galactus? You guys beat him, right?" And they're like,
No, not really."
Well, Johnny said, "Oh, not yet." And then they were like, "So what the fuck did y'all do up there?" And they're like, he asked too high of a price. They're like, "Well, what's the price?" They're like, they want the kid." And they're like, "So?"
Yo,
I'm like,
you talk about some heartless characters in this movie, bro. Like, they immediately say, "Give up the baby," so we
like,
all
y'all deserve to get eaten alive, bro. I'm like, what's wrong with y'all, bro? That's terrible.
Like, what? You seriously want me to give up the baby I just had out of me to a giant being to save you guys? No.
Like, how about y'all ask, well, what's the alternative, instead of fuck that baby, give that baby up. Like, that's terrible. They're like, they're all mad, but they're like, listen, we're gonna figure this out. And so they're sitting at dinner trying to figure it out, and Sue gets mad because Reed says, one thing leads to another, and Reed is like, yeah, we may have to give that baby up. And Sue is like, bro, what is wrong with you?
Right.
And we get one of the best dialogue scenes in the movie, where she says, like, oh, fuck me. What did she say? She says something. She's like, oh, I know you don't mean to hurt me, but sometimes you do that by just being you. And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny now being, obviously I just got married, but like in those moments we gotta watch sometimes what we say, even though sometimes we say what we really mean, but sometimes we gotta think about what our partner might take from what he meant to say. So I'm sure what Reed meant, then he said, I didn't mean to say it like that, but yeah, you did, because you said it, or you thought of it, and she picked up that you thought about using Franklin or giving up Franklin.
But I like what he says, though. He says, it's my job to think of the worst case scenarios. And she's like, no, it's not, bro.
That's just you.
Yeah, I like that he said that. He's like, yeah, it's my job to think of the worst possible scenarios, because it's like, well, how are you going to fix things if you don't think about what could go wrong?
Yeah.
But basically Reed is like, we're going to take and transport Earth to another section of the galaxy.
That's after her speech.
Yeah.
When they hear the crowd down there chanting like, give up the kid, she goes down there and she gives up a really, really, really good speech about her son.
Yeah.
And I actually felt this. I'm like, yo, like this is the Sue Storm that is the Sue Storm, like the real heart of the team, the mother of the team, and she really stood her ground. And when she waved the crowd, that's when Mr. Fantastic or Reed was like, oh shit, move heaven and earth. Why not just move earth?
I like how she says, "Oh, I won't give up Franklin for you guys, but I won't give up you guys for him either. We're going to protect you guys. Like, just calm the fuck down."
Yeah, that's all she was trying to like, bro. Y'all gotta get the fuck off my lawn. Is what she was saying because they were. Like, oh, there was a fucking riot out there. I was like, yo,
the one thing I do love about this is that in this moment before they figure out what they can do to try to save the planet, the movie feels some type of dread. Like everyone just feels they don't feel like they can trust the Fantastic Four, and also it's like we have a moment where Brim Grimm is out and they're like, man, what about us? You know, like it's like you kind of feel the dread with everyone because at this moment. They're going. They think they're going to die. Yeah, and the people that are supposed to save them don't want to save them because they don't want to give up their.
They are the only superheroes on this planet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're the only ones.
Oh, fuck! What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something.
The next moment.
Fuck! No, I was gonna say something. Whatever. So basically, they're like, "Yeah, we're going to move the Earth." And when he said, "Yeah, we're gonna move the Earth," I sat up in my seat. I said, "Brother, what?" You don't just say that. And it was to the point where he said that I was like, I kind of want to see him do it. I was like, I want to see him do it.
I should say that like I want to see this possible. I want to see this.
So they expand his little science project across the globe, and they put like the big versions of it, around the world. And they're like, oh, we can't do this unless everybody saves electricity, so that way we can all do it.
Yeah.
And so the whole world goes dark, and we see Ben shaving his little rot beard, and the power goes out, and so it's like half shaven, half not. And he's like, I look like an idiot. He was like, I don't know, Thing beard could be cool. I was like, Jesus Christ, the Thing with a beard.
Yeah, we see there's obviously they showed a shot in the trailer where Johnny is picking him up. Which everyone was surprised, like, is Johnny that strong to hold Ben? But I'm like, if he's flying, if he has the velocity to fly, I'm sure he can hold him up. But I think he looked awesome with a beard. I think it's a nice little aesthetic. It's different than what we've seen for the other iterations of Ben Grimm, which I like that they took this take. And the fact that he rode with it, it's like, really? You think that would be cool? All right, I'm going to do it. And he did it. It's hilarious.
In the midst of this, they found some, like, old recordings from throughout the galaxy. And Johnny, after Silver Surfer spoke to him, was like, oh, I've heard that before. And he goes back to one of the old ones, and it's the same blessing that she says. And basically he uses this to decode her language, which I like that he did this, but I feel like he did it too quick. It's like, okay, I get it. You want to make him smart, but nobody's that smart to learn a language as fast as he did.
I'll come back to that. I think the movie, I guess this is another little nitpick. The movie doesn't do a great job with the progression of time.
I was going to talk about that too, actually. Go ahead.
Because the fact that they put these things up so fast, but they're not telling us how fast they're putting everything up. Like all the machines or all the teleporting things. I know it's a lot of people probably come together to put them together, but I don't think it would take as long as it does in this movie to put everything up.
Well, they are in the future too, so
right.
They're semi-future. What I was gonna say about that, when it comes to, because I was talking about I was gonna compare like the past time with the thing with growing his beard. I feel like when they added that aesthetic, it showed that passage of time because I felt how long it actually takes to grow a beard. Yeah. It showed like how like by the end of it all he had a full blown beard.
Right.
Like I'm like, okay, I like that aesthetic kind of portrays how long it actually took them to build those things, because growing a beard, even as long as his was, takes a long time. So even though like the passage of time, we don't know how long it took because we didn't get to see it. Like some things, like I think you can take a picture at it, take a point of looking at how all the characters look in terms of like what their aesthetic has changed to, such as a Thing, because he was trying to keep himself clean shaved until he had to start saving power. And he's like, all right. And Johnny's like, try the beard. Beard came out, and by the end of it, he kept it. He keeps it in the end, right? Like not at the end, but at the end he still has it. So it's like it doesn't go away unless he has to like, I don't know how you even shave that then.
He has like a little like it's some type of drill or something.
Yeah, like a something that he was just it was like sparks going everywhere, right? Too when he was doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
So, Johnny tells Sue like, "Oh, hey, I finally like crack the code, and they're like, "Bro, we're about to do this right now. Let's go." And they're like, "Oh, what? Okay, let's do it." And they're getting in coordination with everybody, and they're like, "Oh, we're locked in. Let's go." And
not,
right as they
not to cut you off. Isn't Galactus looming towards this the entire
Yeah,
time?
Yeah,
they're
him going
showing that
past
he's coming.
planets and
he
everything.
passed Jupiter.
Yeah, they said he passed Jupiter. He passed
Oh,
Mars.
he passed Mars. He just entered our gravity. And I'm like, wait. Okay, how long is it? He's like a slow crawling threat, and I actually
Yeah.
thought about that. Like that actually would be horrifying to think about. Like something slowly crawling towards you and you can't get away from it because they had nowhere else to go.
Like the meteor from Don't Look Up.
Yeah, that movie still sits with me because I think about that scenario. I'm like, yo, we would know what to do. We would know what to do in that scenario.
The movie kind of feels like something like Armageddon or something, to where it's like, yeah, you established the threat, and now we got to figure out how to fix it. I personally really like that. I thought that was cool.
Yes, like movies with that kind of premise are, and if it makes you guess what the ending is going to be. Because let's say if it's like an asteroid from Don't Look Up, most of the people in that movie didn't believe it was real until they actually saw it when they looked up. They were like, "Why is that thing getting brighter? Oh shit!" Like it's like they wait too little, too late kind of thing. So, but that kind of felt like Galactus. That's how Galactus felt. He felt like a looming threat. They were trying their best to solve, but they figured it out.
People thought it was weird that I said that in my review. I was like, yeah, it feels like something like Armageddon or a Michael Bay movie, and it's not an insult. It's just the fact that some of those movies aren't great.
Yeah,
but it's like you take the mold of that movie and just apply it to an MCU movie, and just you have the sauce of what you got, and it's like, it's great. You can do great disaster movies. It's just that these movies kind of suck. But
I agree.
So they're doing the countdown thing, and then all of a sudden one of them goes red, and they're like, "Well, what the fuck is going on?" I thought it messed up. I was like, "Oh, it messed up. Okay, that makes sense because they're doing a Hail Mary type shit." Yep. And then all of a sudden you see boom, 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 all of them going red, and you see Silver Surfer destroying. I said, "This fucking bitch, bro." I was like, "Fuck, man."
I forgot. It's crazy when she appeared in this scene. I totally thought like, oh, she's gone first movie because of the black hole scene, but I forgot she does go back to Galactus, and they have a conversation, and then I think, and then that's when like we talk about, then then when she started appearing again, I said, I in my head I said, of course she's the thing that's going to stop the looming threat. Like she's going to continue the looming threat to get here because she's the herald. She's the one to make sure this happens. So I was like, damn.
I liked when she was destroying all of them, she destroyed all of them except the one in Times Square.
Right.
And she was like, "Oh, she's coming for the baby," and Johnny was already gone. And I was like, yo, when this was happening, I was like, yo, the Fantastic Four is the definition of it's on site when you fuck with one.
Basically,
for sure.
Because every time one of them gets messed with, the other one in this movie is like, nah, fuck you. Your ass is grass. Get that ass over here.
For sure.
And sure enough, Johnny just flies towards her, smacks her in the face with a fireball. Is like, yo, let's go. Because now you pissed me off. And takes her to Times Square and plays this message from, I guess, her home planet before she was taken to be the Silver Surfer. And he reveals that, he decoded the language. I love the line from the thing. He's like, he's barely got a grasp of the English language. How did he do this?
Yeah.
I was like, that was funny.
The fact that he spoke it to her too, like he didn't just decode it. He was actually talking to her.
Yeah, he was fluent in it. Like he was like literally, literally knew how to say the line. I'm like, yo, this guy is crazy. This guy, okay. I like Johnny. Like Johnny's got something to him.
So this is where we got our backstory for Silver Surfer. It kind of felt like the bare minimum, but I was like, it's fine. I wish we got more of it. Truth be told, I would be so down for a feature presentation, 45 minutes short for her. I think that would be kind of sick if we got that, because I think it would flesh this movie out more, but it would also flesh that character out more because clearly we're going to see her again soon.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a one and done. Same thing with Galactus. So I very much want to see more of her, and if they do that in a future presentation, I'm cool with that. Um, so she kind of freaks out and leaves, and Johnny was like, "Oh," but they were like, "Oh, that was amazing." She was like, "Yeah, but what was it for?" And Sue was like, "You saved the baby, bro. That means more than anything."
Mm-hmm.
So they're back to discussing what they're going to do. And again, the discussion of using Franklin for bait comes up. And now they're all like, whoa, what the fuck? Whoa, what are you talking about? And Sue kind of, even though she obviously hates the idea, she kind of accepts it. And she's kind of just like, all right, I get it. Just leave me alone. Like, I got to deal with this. And I kind of liked that because it kind of showed like it's her not being selfish. It's like, yes, this is a horrible thing that we have to do, but it's one person versus the galaxy. Pick,
Right.
and it's not like they're killing him, and nor is it them giving Franklin to Galactus. It's no, we're going to have a plan. We're going to figure it out. Um, so we see Sue taking Franklin for a walk, and I thought this was cute. This is a cute little scene. And we kind of see like the progression of time. I think Alex is frozen. Alex, are you frozen? Uh-oh. Yeah, Alex is frozen.
He's frozen.
Yes, but we got the scene with they're outside in the snow, and Reed is kind of reassuring her. It's like, listen, this plan sucks, but but we're gonna. Oh, and there he goes. But he's like, oh, this plan sucks, but we're gonna figure it out. And I just, again, it hammers home the family theme. I really love. I saw a lot of people saying like, oh, it reminds me of what Fast and Furious does with family. It's like,
no, it's better than that shit.
no, it is better
It's
because
better. It's 'cause they feel like the way they depict family in Fast and Furious. It's like family is like it's like I
it's
watch
like a religious thing.
or it's like they make it like a power. Like if I have family, I'm undefeatable. Basically, it's like that. It's like I watch anime. They have this thing called the power of friendship. If you have the power of friendship, you have like basically plot armor, and it's like that's how it is with Fast and Furious. They have all plot armor. They can literally not get shot at and literally live through car accidents.
For people that watch My Hero Academia, the power of friendship is
that I do that. I despise that anime for that whole.
I don't know what the hell just happened. My connection got screwed up.
But for reference, yes, I feel like the aspect of family in this movie is way better than like Fast and Furious because of how involved they are and how they actually have something real to protect, like their son and the earth and everything. Like they have a real like thing, to like protect from and everything.
So they make this little baby car seat for Franklin, and they put it in Times Square, and they're like, oh, when he crosses this red line, we'll open up like a portal, and it'll send him to like another end of the galaxy that it'll take him millions of years to come back. And that was kind of their out for when they beat him in this movie, kind of saying, well, he's not beaten. He's just on another side of the galaxy. And I saw some people kind of like, well, I don't like that he got beat in this movie. And I'm like, well, I agree to a point because my preferred ending for this movie is they have to flee and he eats the earth and that's it.
That's what I thought that was going to happen.
But the way I looked at it, and I told Alex is that he says, "Oh, it'll take him millions of years to get back to their Earth. Who knows how long it'll take him to get to Earth 616?
Mm-hmm.
So, for all we know, he could be like right next to 616.
Because wait, is Galactus a multi-dimensional being? Does he go to multiple?
I have no idea.
I thought about that because then can he go to multiple Earths and eat multiple Earths? I'm thinking about that now, unless they just said it within their universe, because I know it's like multiverse kind of shit. But
so they come up with this plan, and Ben is like, "Well, if he's gonna be storming through the city, that's gonna be a lot of casualties." So then they have to go talk to Mole Man. moment to me, I liked him, but this scene kind of felt like it stopped the pacing for like
Yeah.
2 seconds because it felt like it was so dire and serious, and then oh no, we gotta have a comedic scene. And I was just kind of like,
Talking about when they invite old boy to the back to
yeah,
building, he's like, lay it out on me. He's like I said, he felt like I can't think of his name off Cobra Kai, but that's basically who he was.
That's what it was. It was Stingray.
Yeah, he was. That's what I'm saying. He was
Stingray.
acting like Stingray.
Butter
That's
me
what
up.
he was like.
Butter me
Yeah,
up.
that's what he felt like. It's funny because he's going to be in the Naked Gun as well. So shout out to that actor.
Hey, he's getting some roles because he was first started on that Cobra Kai, so I was his I guess he stood out to where he's now getting more. He got probably as an agent who's probably getting him more roles as side characters. Shit, I'm surprised he was in a Marvel movie.
I can agree with you that this scene definitely kind of slowed down the pace a little bit, but I thought it was cool that he used his underground city or world to evacuate everyone that was in that area.
I liked how he's petty towards the team, not Sue.
Right. Well, he says in the beginning that he trusts Sue.
Yeah. He doesn't trust. He doesn't trust no one else but her because she helped establish that world.
We did not talk about this. So they were having like a world council meeting or something.
And Dr. Doom's place was empty.
Lavetia, I forgot what it is.
Yeah, it's like Latavia or something like that.
Say Laveria, where he's from.
And I saw the chair and I looked at my friend. I said, "Oh," and they showed it twice too. I was like, "Oh." It's like,
yeah.
So, I also like how in this scene he's being a jackass to the rest of the team, but then he tells Sue, he's like, "Sorry, it's the end of the world. We got to learn how to laugh at least a little bit."
Yeah.
And I kind of like how he knew. He was like, "All right, let me stop being an ass and actually help them." So yeah, they move everybody from above ground underground, which it's a smart plan, but the main thought I had in my head was, well, if Galactus is walking and like he just stomps a little bit, it's like, well, rip bozos, I guess.
Yeah, right.
I was like,
right.
That's not exactly the most foolproof plan in the world, but
I at least thought they would have said, like, let's just evacuate the city to like other outskirts of the city, like get them out of the city, not under the city. But you're right, like he could have just stomped hard enough. Yeah, all them civilians down there would have just been crushed because that's like, unless those structures that were holding them up were that strong. But nah.
So we ease into our third act. We see Galactus come in, and he goes from like being really, really big and to, I mean, I guess he's still really, really big, but he is not as big as when we first saw him.
Yeah.
He's storming through New York, and he picks up this dirt and smells it, and Johnny's like, "The fuck?" He's like,
That scene is kind of weird to me. That scene, because it's like he's like, I guess he's like, I don't know. That scene is weird to me now. I think about it. Why?
Pick up the soil and smell
it just. It's like this is like this. Like what is that supposed to do to you? Like make you remember the place you eat? I guess. Or
what is Jetfire called? Earth. You might as well call it Dirt
Planet Dirt. So he's storming through New York Times Square, gets to where they need him to get to, and right as he's about to step over, he doesn't, and he's like, "Let me just see something real quick." Scans, and he sees the Baxter building, and he goes, "Clever little bugs," and starts going after them, and they're like, "Oh, they're going after the baby."
Doesn't he smirk when he say that?
Yes.
He's like, clever bugs. And I'm like, this is wrong. Like, I'm sorry, I wasn't with nobody, but I was myself. I was like, man, this is so cool. Like, this is just so cool. Like, this movie is just cool.
And I've seen other people say, like, oh, Galactus didn't really have a whole lot of development. Brother, he's fucking Galactus. He doesn't need development. He will eat your planet, and that's it, bro.
That's all that. Like, I've seen that too. People saying the Silver Surfer and those two characters aren't developed. I'm like, what more do you want? Do you want to sympathize? You want a sympathizing villain? That Galactus is not sympathetic because
I mean, Silver Surfer said it best is that they asked, like, what does he want? Like, he doesn't want anything. He wants to feed. That's what he does. He doesn't have a reason. He just wants to do it. Your planet has been marked, so he's coming for your planet. There's no reason. It's not personal. Just what he does.
Yeah, crazy.
Now you have something personal because you want the baby, but
so they're starting to make their way towards Galactus starting to make his way towards the Baxter building, and we get our third act fight with them versus Galactus. You know, a lot of people were like, "Oh, how are they going to actually fight Galactus?" They don't really. They kind of just attempt to stop him.
They attempt to stop him.
So the thing, like, he kind of like throws a crane at him, and Galactus catches it, and then he flings him out of the stratosphere. I was like, Jesus Christ.
This part of the fight is kind of one-sided because Galactus isn't doing anything but like just letting them do what they do. He gets set on fire and just continues to walk. Like
nothing is phasing this guy.
He's not phased. This is why I was saying this is more terrifying than Thanos, because at least when Thanos was getting hit, he was like taking damage. This guy wasn't taking any damage. He was until Sue steps in, of course, when she started.
But Sue doesn't really cause damage. All she does is just push him into the force field. I'm sure it wasn't doing anything to hurt him.
Yeah,
and if anything, she was just using her strong will in the force field to just push him back.
Yeah, and that probably took a lot out of her. But
so Johnny catches Ben from, I guess, going to space. Like, who knows where he went?
Wasn't Ben already in space and he took him? He pulled him back in.
Yeah.
Who knows where he would have been? You know. So he catches him, and they come crashing back down. And Reed is trying everything he can to hold him back, and then Reed, he gets a hold of Reed and stretches this fucker out like no tomorrow. I was sitting there like you see the suit ripping. I was like, what the fuck is this? This shit is crazy. You know,
I thought he was gonna fling him.
Yeah,
like a rubber band. Like a rubber band.
That's what I thought. I was like, yo, that shit. And when he lands, he just splat. I was like, damn. Sue was in the car, which I love the car. That shit is awesome.
Yes.
And he crashes the car, so she's knocked out. And then Johnny has Ben up in the air. He goes, "What time is it?" I'm not gonna say it. What time is it? I'm not gonna say it. What? Say it! It's clobbering time! Fucking the theater exploded. Fucking awesome. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. I loved it. It was cool. I think I actually might like it more in the 05 version. I love when he busts through the wall. He goes, it's clobbering time. I love that one too. Anything's better than Fantastic. They didn't earn that shit.
They say that. Did they say it?
They did. He says it.
That movie's so not. That movie's so forgettable.
So we cut to him doing his little cannonball thing out of the sky. It stumbles him a little bit, but not by much. Right. And Johnny takes Franklin. He took Franklin and flew him back to the building, which found it funny. They show the shot of him like flying through the buildings, and I was like, "And they edited the fuck out of this in the trailer,
dude."
You see him flying with the car seat.
Yeah. I was like, dude, oh, this is that shot. Wait, the car seat's there. I said, damn, I was editing. Whoever edited or did that shot, man.
So we see Herbie, which we haven't talked about Herbie. I loved Herbie. He was so cool. I wanted a little Herbie Funko Pop.
Was his dialogue like weary? Like you could actually make out of it as words? Because wasn't he saying words?
Sometimes it depends on what it was. It depends on what he was saying.
Okay.
Because like when Sue finds him making the crib, which was funny, you kind of heard him say like, "Oh, you're back." But there were like other times where he was just, babbling,
making noises or whatever.
I loved him. I loved him and Johnny. I loved how every time Johnny saw him, he scratched his little head. He called him Herbert.
Yeah, that little bond nigga. I like that. It's like everybody has a different bond with that thing. Like everybody's like uses it for certain reasons. It's part of the family.
It was cute, man. This thing could have easily been annoying and they nailed it. So we see him, and he's singing a lullaby to Franklin because Franklin's crying, and Herbie's like, "Oh Jesus!" And you see Galactus pop up behind him, and he's like, "Man, fuck this shit," and shuts the blinds. And Herbie's like, "We're good, right?" And Galactus busts through the shit. I'm pretty sure that version of Herbie is no more. So
yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah, I'll ask the question: did he survive? Like, I don't think so.
I don't know. So then he takes the baby, and they see this, and Sue is like, no, give me my baby. What the fuck is wrong with you?" And Galactus is like, "Man, fuck away from me, bro." And she's like, "No, bring that ass here." And he's like, "Bro, get away from me." So then she does it again and fucking grabs his ass. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is she about to do? Dude, I have no knowledge of these characters outside of the movies. So I never didn't know what these guys could do. Nothing, bro. For all I knew, Invisible Woman, she just went invisible and that was it, bro. So all the shit that she did in this movie was new to me. She took this fucking asshole, and Reed ended up grabbing him, Franklin, and she took fucking Galactus and sent his ass flying. I said, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Oh!" That's why in my letterbox review I said, "Sue Storm, I was not familiar with your game," because I was just like, "Oh fuck!" And I think it was Jeremy Johns. He was like, "Oh, I find it a little weird that Galactus can just be flung across a city like that." And I was like, "Well, the thing is, he wasn't big. He was small. He was shorter.
He was small. He wasn't his bigger version. Yeah.
So I don't think it was that big of an issue. You know, that I don't know. That was just me. I was like, yeah, he was not huge. Like, obviously, Sue could not take the huge version of Galactus and send him fucking flying.
Right.
You know, but she does this, and she ends up dying, which I oddly expected, which we'll talk about in a second. But they get him to the point where they needed to get him, and they activate it, and he starts going through the little thing, and he goes through it, and I was like, "Oh." And Ben was like, "Oh, we did it." And then he busts out again. I said, "Oh, that's it. That's it." I was like, "Oh."
I said they're not winning this one if he got out of it.
I thought it was so done. And this is what I wanted. I had wanted that to happen for me anyway. I was okay with a sad, miserable ending.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, "Oh, it's so over." So Silver Surfer shows back up. Actually, no. Johnny's gonna sacrifice himself, which I loved. He was like, "Oh, tell him Uncle Johnny loves him," and he was gonna fly into him. Silver Surfer shows up and knocks into him, and they both go through this portal thing, and they're gone. Sayonara. And you know, again, we're more than likely going to see them again. You know, I'm sure once Galactus gets a win that the team that kicked his ass is on 616, he's like, "Nah, see, now your ass is grass." So we see that Sue she's done, and they're trying to give her CPR. And you know, I've seen some people say, "Oh, well, we knew she wasn't gonna die, so why does this scene matter?" Brother, I didn't give a fuck, bro. I was locked in this scene. Because they can kill off anybody and bring them back in some other way.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, they could have very well had a version of Sue die and bring in a variant. They could have done that.
Yeah.
Did I want them to do that? No. But the point is, when a movie is this good, I don't care. I'm not thinking about anything else except what's happening. I'm not thinking about, "Oh, I didn't see this in the trailer. I didn't see this moment happen in the trailer. That means that they're not dead." Or, "Oh, this person is going to be in Doomsday. Why am I going to believe that they're dead?"
Yeah.
People brought up the chair. It's like, "Oh, I remember she had a chair, so I knew she wasn't going to die." It's like, okay.
I'm sorry I don't remember all 37 fucking chairs that were in that video.
Yeah, same.
So, she's dead. Like she is legitimately dead.
Yeah.
And then Franklin crawls on her. This looked horrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this CGI did not look good.
It looked like that baby was gonna fall right through her, bro. I'm like, this looks terrible.
Mm-hmm.
The baby resuscitates her. You
Yeah.
see her eyes glow. I said, "Oh snap!"
Her eyes look like the cosmic stars almost. Like
They
it looked like they were galaxies or some shit within her. And I'm like, yo, did he did. I said, we got somebody that does. So like I said, once I saw it, I'm gonna look into this character. Yeah, there's a lot this character's gonna do.
Yeah.
Franklin Richards is
Franklin is OP, bro. He's talking about OP character. He's an OP character, bro.
But the crazy, I thought about this. Him and the character that was introduced in Agatha all along, Wiccan. They kind of have similar abilities because Wiccan was created the thing that Agatha was doing. If you guys didn't know that, if you guys didn't dissect that, that's how that thing came to be. It was all through his own creation. But is that the same thing that Franklin can do? Because he's creating galaxies.
Yeah.
While we can create like dimensions or what things out of reality that just come about. I don't know, but it's
what you're describing sounds way better than that actual show. So because that show was horrible.
No, the show was ass. Oh, I'm sorry. That show was horrible. But when I depicted it all, and I was like, wait a minute, did this guy who was quote unquote Wanda's son and a Wiccan create what Agatha was portraying for all those witches all that time? Because remember, I don't want to talk about that show because it's ass, but it just reminded me when I looked at his abilities, I'm like, oh, this is the same ability as his. Is it? I don't know, but it seems like this is going to be a lot to handle in the MCU going forward because of what he can do.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm like, I don't think it's.
I feel like it's definitely gonna be addressed in Doomsday and Secret Wars. Clearly, with the post-credit scene, which we'll get to, he's gonna play a major factor in.
Yes, can't wait.
But, yeah, go ahead, Tom.
But
so they kind of all just they're like, yeah, we have our, we're good, we got him. That's what they thought, but they go on this talk show and. They make a little outfit for Franklin. And they're like, no, we're not.
We're not putting that on him.
They make it a 5, and they're like, oh, they're the Fantastic Five.
5 now, yeah. No,
it's funny. That's actually his number in the comics. That's why that was that sport. That's the number he dons as in the comics as his costume. He has a 5 instead of a 4.
So they get an alert and they all dip before they are able to talk on the show, and we get this scene that. I thought this was cute, but it felt a little long. I was like, all right.
Trying to put the seatbelt in.
Yeah, I was like, all right, bro. This is the end. Just fucking end the movie already, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Because it was weird. It kept flashing back to like the Sue and the baby and then back to them. And I'm like, are we going to is this dragging a little bit? Like they got it together. And then when they finally got it together, I was like, okay. All right.
But I do like, they're like, yay, we got it. And you're Fantastic Four. And it just. Cuts the black.
It ends.
Cuts.
Good stuff, man. I loved it. It's amazing. I love this movie.
Post-credit scene.
Yep.
So post-credit scene. They did
4 years later.
Yeah, 4 years later. So now,
that's crazy. When they did that, I was like, what? Another.
So when we see the Fantastic Four again, it's going to be 8 years that they've been the Fantastic Four, which is kind of crazy, but
that means they might all look different in Doomsday then, because you could change in 4 years.
Yeah, their abilities might be
abilities might be different. Like Johnny might have a different. Not look how he looked in this movie. He might look completely different.
We've seen him suck up fire. I've never seen that before. He literally sucks out fire in a building. Like he can do that.
Yes, he can do that. Yes, Human Torch can do that. I've looked at Human Torch. He's considered like a like within Marvel terms like some sort of category kind of superhero that because what we saw in Deadpool Wolverine, Pyro shouldn't have done what he did because Pyro isn't that strong. But like I said, that was for Deadpool Wolverine. So again,
suck all the fire out of him.
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened because he's a human torch. He has literally he can burn for almost all ever, depending on how seasoned he is with his abilities.
Right.
So I mean, shit. I can't wait to see what these guys look like. But yeah, go ahead, post credit scene.
So we see Reed, Sue, and Franklin. She's reading him a little story. Thought this was cute. Thankfully, it's an actual human fucking kid.
Yeah.
And she goes to get him another book, and they pull a book off the shelf. I think it was a reference to the movie earlier. I forgot what the joke was, but everyone laughed at it. So I was like, oh, it's probably a joke from the beginning of the movie. And you hear a little something, and Sue immediately gets suspicious, which you would have thought that Herbie would have detected something,
Right.
but
It's
I guess
Dr.
not.
Doom,
I get he was too busy picking out a book.
Yeah.
So she walks back, and it slowly pans over the TV set, and we see. I swear, I didn't think we were gonna see him.
I didn't
I
think so
didn't.
either.
I was like, oh, they're just gonna show like that the kid is gone. You're gonna see like a green portal like disappear or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But they
No.
showed him in full
Yeah.
flesh. They showed Dr. Doom. They showed him with the mask off. We didn't see his face, but
Yeah.
they showed him holding the baby, and it cut to black, and it said Fantastic Four will return in Avengers
they
Doomsday.
show him looking at the baby, and Frank is like touching his face.
Yeah,
So
we
it's
just
intended.
saw the green and the mask. We didn't see who actually was there.
It's intended. He's about to take the baby, but obviously Sue is there. She's seeing all this, so who knows whether or not it's going to be an altercation between the characters. But does this confirm that RDJ's version of Doom is in this universe?
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't know whether or not he actually came from another universe or he was already here. Because, like you said earlier, we saw his
thing, it was empty. Yeah,
his chair was empty, so he does exist. But is it RDJ's version? And I ain't gonna lie, I would be amazed if it was RDJ's version that we're dealing with from this universe.
Right.
The fact that he wasn't there, maybe he was doing some other experimental shit. That's why he couldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he just kind of just teleports where he's at. Why he teleports there?
Yeah. I mean, Doom is a master of technology and magic. He does have his own backstory and his own origin. He could have been doing his own thing for this point of time, taking over his country and everything and all that, because he rules his country. So he could have already been in the process of doing that during the span of them being the Fantastic Four. Yeah, we didn't hear about it, but Fantastic Four didn't really have anything to deal with it until Doom comes in, like now, because now he is a master of his craft. He's about technology and magic. So, well, like I said, it's possible that it could be RDJ or it could be a different one, but I think it has to be RDJ.
Yeah,
it has to be.
The scene, admittedly, when it happened, I was very excited. I was like, okay, just like with Thunderbolts, when that post-credit scene ended, I said, okay,
let's do it.
Oh, my to talk about my theater experience, it's funny. My theater experience was filled with like quiet laughter until this scene. It erupted in applause. I was like, I joined in because I'm like, this was great, and ending it on there. I didn't stay for the end credit scene because I was like, I heard this is a jokey joke. I'm like, I'm cool. So I'm leaving. Everyone's still sitting down. I'm like, I'm ready for the next one. I'm ready for Avengers versus Spider-Man. But
like I said, it got me very excited. But as it's been with a lot of stuff lately, in the moment, I was very excited. But then again, when I start using my brain, I'm kind of just like, I'm really worried about this. I am. It's like if they had properly crafted this and actually built Doom out, this would have had me fucking going crazy. I would be like, let's go. Like, this is the last step into Doomsday. Let's go. But it's more or less just, okay, we're here now. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help that we're hearing all these things from Doomsday and this and what's going on behind the scenes, and they're still writing a script, and obviously it got pushed back. So obviously Doomsday was going to be the next movie we got. Now we got to wait a year and a half for this movie, which to me I don't think is bad. Because we're getting Spider-Man. I think putting Spider-Man after Doomsday probably would have threw off the pace. Because the fact that we get, I don't know what movie comes in between Secret Wars and Doomsday,
well,
but
they're saying that right now it's not confirmed if we're getting a new MCU movie, but they have like an untitled film
yeah,
spot for.
I remember seeing that.
I
Yeah,
think it's February of 2027.
yeah,
Who
Yeah.
knows? Some people were saying it might be Doctor Strange 3. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know what it could be. That's the only thing that might make sense.
yeah.
Um, it was said that the Russos directed this post-credit scene. I
Yeah, I heard
think
that too.
if I was willing to bet, this was the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
what I'm thinking about when it comes to Avengers Doomsday. If they lead off of this in the beginning of the movie, being, yeah, what's his name? Is there from their university, takes Franklin with him to go to Earth 616. Because people I was watching Gianna Campia, and he was predicting about the end credit scene of Spider-Man Brand New Day, saying Doc, Doctor Doom appears at his door saying, "Hi, Peter," and I'm like, "No, I don't think so." I said, "No, I don't think
They're
so."
saving that. No,
Yeah.
it's gonna the way they're gonna handle Doom and Spider-Man. It's gonna be a thing of Winter Soldier, to where they
Mm-hmm.
keep him hidden most of the movie, and then Spider-Man's fighting him, kicks him in the head, and the mask goes off, and he's like, "Oh, like Mr. Stark,"
right? Yeah, I can
you
see that.
know. But me personally, I would hold off on that reveal until the very end of the movie. I wouldn't
Yeah,
reveal him to the Avengers until the end of the movie.
yeah,
That's how I would do it.
Have him masked the entire
yeah.
time.
Because most of us know who he is, but the fact that his own people that were fighting with him don't know who he is,
Yep.
and then we get that reveal will be awesome.
Uh,
But it does. It also is. We know that Alan Silvestri will be doing the score because he does
yeah,
the
he did
score for the
the Doom.
theme,
Yeah,
the Doom theme. It's funny.
but
It's called Doom question mark. So it's like, why is he Doom question mark? Why is it called that?
it's just it's great. We're gonna go from a score from Michael Giacchino for this movie, which was fucking incredible.
Yeah,
No,
We didn't talk about it. It was
great.
phenomenal. And then we're gonna
The
go
music was
to.
great. Oh my
He's
god.
probably going to, unless he's not. He's probably going to do the score for Spider-Man because he did the other three.
he's probably gonna do the score for Spider-Man for sure.
And then Alan Silvestri for the Avengers movies. It's like
Which he's always done. Besides Avengers 2, he's done every single Avengers movie.
Okay.
Danny Elfman did 2.
It sounds like it.
Mhm.
I wish I could say I'm overly excited.
Mhm.
I'm not. You
You're not?
know, I think in regards to Thunderbolts, the post-credit scene, I think Doom is on that ship because
Yeah,
to
that's
me,
what everyone's saying.
I don't see how. Well, I don't see what logical reason the Fantastic Four would have to go to 616.
Yeah,
So I think Doom stole their ship and is going to 616. Now, why is Doom going to 616? I have no idea, but that's just my thinking. But truth be told, you know, I know Marquis said he's more excited for Avengers than Spider-Man. I'm more excited for Spider-Man because to me, and you know, and people were saying, you know, like, oh, look at the turnaround they've made with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. It's like, you guys got to realize something. Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four both had natural development for a film. They
Yeah.
were announced in 2020 and 2021. Then they were delayed to be worked on even more.
Ah, yeah.
Avengers Doomsday got announced in 2024. This movie is coming out next in December, of which it doesn't even have a final script yet, and they've barely started shooting.
mm-hmm.
That's two major red flags.
I didn't even know that actually.
That-
Yeah. The only thing we got is the cast and who's directing and who's writing. Like they haven't confirmed shooting. They haven't confirmed whether or not the script is finished.
And you know the Sony deal with Spider-Man and Disney is really annoying because like, they make it like, oh, he can't show up in the Disney Plus shows because of the agreements or whatever. But the one thing that I'm thankful for is that when it comes to their movies,
Yeah,
they handle how they're made.
yeah,
For sure.
So they didn't like they're not gonna say, hey, put a Spider-Man movie in development and have it released next year and we're gonna start working on that. No, they've been working on Brand New Day for a while.
they have. I know. Yeah,
So
there's been a work.
that's why I can say, yeah, I'm more excited for Brand New Day because it's had, not as much development as the other two, but it's
Yeah,
had more development than Doomsday has.
right.
Doomsday and Secret Wars are coming out, out of
Like,
thin air.
are they? They're coming out back to back, aren't they? Or supposedly, right? They're supposed to
A
be a
year.
back to back movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
within a year, one another, like they did Infinity War.
I'm
But
about to say, I see where you're coming from. I think I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm more so excited. I'm more so excited for the outcome from what I'm getting from these two movies. That's what I mean. Not in like in an aspect of like I just want to see the next chapter. Spider-Man, it's like I feel like the way his chapter left off back in No Way Home, which I gotta rewatch that movie. I haven't seen him in a couple of years now, actually. It just felt like I'm more so intrigued to see what next is for Spider-Man. Not like excited. I'm more so intrigued more than anything because of this is a Spider-Man that is a no name. Like he's literally not. Nobody knows who Peter Parker is. This is a Spider-Man I've never seen before because, like, I mean, past movies he's always had someone. He has nobody now. He has to be his own person. Like he doesn't have Aunt May. He doesn't have no one to rely on. He doesn't have Mary Jane. He has. I'm more so intrigued, but I don't know any information about this movie either. So I'm just like, that's what I'm also keeping out of my ears. I'm not trying to figure out who's all. I know John Berthol's gonna be with me. I heard there's possibly Mark Ruffalo and all that stuff. But I'm like, I'm not listening to any rumors until I see a trailer.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
and even with Doomsday, I'm skeptical of the script. I didn't know that the script was. I didn't know any of this. Now my thoughts are like, okay, let me focus on the next MCU versus the next Avengers movie because then good. If it's not even shooting right now and it's supposed to come out at the end of next year,
I think they've shot some stuff, but it's not. It's been very delayed. I guess you could say that's why they delayed it.
And like with Spider-Man, I also like that apparently it's going to be street level and it's going to be contained. And they came out and said that this movie is not really going to affect Doomsday. It's just going to be its own thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of what makes me more excited about that movie. Is like they have their own vision for it and they know what they're doing with it. Like again, that's the benefit of Sony working on those movies. Like sure, Kevin Feige is involved, but they're the ones handling that. They're like, listen, bro,
it's Pascal Pictures and everything, right? Like or not that. It's
They're like, listen, bro, we don't know what they're like. We don't know what the fuck y'all going on over there with your fucking Avengers movies and shit. We just want to make our Spider-Man movie and probably bring in all the Netflix characters and shit. Just let us cook, bro. We got it. But again, I wish I could say I'm excited for Doomsday, but I'm really not. I'm more worried than anything.
I mean, the only thing Spider-Man probably will bring is the post-credit scene. Now that's going to connect to
That's what I'm looking forward to.
That's really the only thing.
Yeah, but I was say I want to see Spider-Man as a grounded street character, like back to like being a friendly neighborhood. Just not a regular hero because. Yeah, him being part of the Avengers, the last few movies were amazing. But yes, I want to see him do his own thing by himself with all the grounded heroes that we have in this universe or in this world, at least. So I'm looking forward to it.
And don't hear me say, "Oh, you can't be excited for Doom." You can very much be excited for Doomsday, but the point is, I personally
skeptical
knowing everything that's going on, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't. And with the way that these movies are coming about, I can't be excited. I can't until I see a trailer and I'm like, okay. It's kind of like what was happening with Brave New World, and then we saw the trailers and I was kind of like, well, okay, maybe it may not actually be bad. And I still don't think Brave New World was that bad.
Brave New World was not great to me.
It's not great, but I don't think it's that bad.
No, it's not that bad. It's another forgettable like. Yeah. You can skip it if you want. It's one of those type of MCU movies.
But those are. I mean, unless you guys have anything to add.
Nope, that's about it. We love the movie. Clearly, I'm like I said, I might double dip on it. I'm ready. They need to reveal that steelbook so I can pre-order it. Just
Right.
revealed the steelbook, so I can pre-order it, guys. Just go ahead and do it.
No, I'm going to see this movie. I gotta go see this movie again just to get a lot of like get it. I want to see it again. That's all. This movie's great. Double feature kind of thing. I would go see this multiple times, just like Tyler has done because how great the movie is. So that's my final thoughts.
Awesome. So yeah, let's go. All right, if you guys have seen Fantastic Four First Steps, go ahead and spoil it in the comment section. Go ahead and let us know what you guys thought about it, favorite moments, favorite scenes, all that good stuff. If you didn't like it, we'll love to hear your thoughts too.
Yep.
So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our final topic of the day. Of course, that is the physical media update where we show off our recent pickups and stuff like that. So I only got one thing, and of course, you guys know it is the Thunderbolts.
Nice.
Steelbook shows the new Avengers on the back of it.
Nice.
I think it's pretty dope. I recently watched the movie. The 4K looks good. Now, my funny story about this. So I did get it, but when I walked up to my doorstep, it wasn't this movie. It was a box with a fitness ball. It was a box for a fitness ball sitting on my step, and I'm like, did they put it inside this box because they had no box? I was like, no, that's not Amazon. They put it in a little cardboard sleeve or envelope. That's what they've been doing with my steelbooks. So I did the a-hole thing, and I actually opened up the package to see if it was in there. No, it wasn't in there. It was a fitness ball in the box. And I should have just read the address because the address didn't say my address or my name. I'm thinking they fucked up because I wanted to make sure it was the right thing. But it was actually the fitness ball was supposed to be with my neighbor. So I went to the back of her house. My steelbook is sitting on her porch. Or on the back step. I said, this Amazon driver is a freaking idiot. He can't tell between a 1 and a 7. You freaking idiot. If you're watching this, I hope you're probably not, but you're an idiot. You're an idiot, Amazon. The fact that you took the picture and said, hey, this is here. Okay. All right. But that's just my little story. I'm glad I got it. And I'm sorry for it. This person, my neighbor, is probably not watching the stream, but I am sorry for cracking open your fitness ball. Thank God. Thank you for getting fit. But yeah, that's just my little story about Thunderbolts.
So yeah, I got Thunderbolts, and then the other thing I got it last week. I was too lazy to go get it at my dad's house. I got the Steelbook for Final Destination Bloodlines. Absolutely love this movie. I actually kind of don't like the Steelbook. I like the front, but the back is literally nothing. It's like a fucking Sony Steelbook. And the inside isn't great either. But yeah, I like the front, so I guess I'll just keep it like this. I like this movie. It's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun watching people die in violent ways again in the theater. Hopefully we get another one. I would not mind another one, but if not, it's okay because we got the best one in the series. So
yeah, the last one was the best one for sure.
If y'all have said it, that means I gotta watch it. Then I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. It's really good. So yeah, updates.
So next week we will be taking a break because shit.
We need one. We need one.
So next week we will be taking a break. We will be back. Me and AJ will be back August 10th. So that's Sunday. So next Sunday we will be live doing a watch along for Mortal Kombat because the new one, Mortal Kombat 2, is coming out in October, and like we told you guys, we're going to be using the month of August to kind of do 3 watch-alongs for 2 movies that are coming out in October. So we're doing 2 Mortal Kombat watch-alongs, and then we're doing a watch-along for Predators because that's most of our favorite Predator movie in preparation for Predator Badlands. And August is going to be a slow month. We're only doing 3 live streams in August. I was saying it today while making thumbnails. I was like, I really fucking want it to be September already because that's when we're going to start our horror stuff.
Our horror watch-alongs.
I'm excited. But I put up a review for Fantastic Four on my Instagram. Go check that out if you have not already. Friday, I will have a review for Together, the new neon horror movie coming out. Well, it came out today, but I'm very excited to check that out. I might see Freakier Friday next week, so I might have a review for that. I also might go see The Naked Gun because I'm hearing that it was like really great. So I might go check it out this weekend because I got off. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, no updates this way. Like I said, I know I've been really slow on making videos. I just really hasn't really been in the mood. Not even gonna lie to you guys, haven't really been in the mood. Even though I know Thunderbolts did come out last Tuesday, I had car issues. Like I said, I know I have a car, but I mean, I really didn't want to drive that vehicle. I want to drive my vehicle when I'm going out blu-ray hunting, and I'm just waiting on it for it to get done. I mean, I'm waiting for it to be done in the shop, and hopefully at the end of this week or maybe beginning of next week, it will be ready. So,
Right.
but it's really the only thing I got. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, enjoyed this live stream, shout out to everybody watching on the replay. You guys are awesome. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe for more. We are now at 326. We're trucking along to that 400. If you guys can help us out with that, we would really enjoy it. We really be happy about that. We really pleased with your presence to check us out on Nerd Talk over here. If you guys enjoy spoiler talks, watch alongs, OVRs, originals versus remakes. All those type of videos, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Go check out our Instagram, go check out Tyler's Instagram, go check out my Instagram. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Shout out to my brother. Shout out for you for joining us and having this nice little talk with us. Really appreciate you coming through.
Of course, anytime,
And,
anytime.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, like I said, if you guys enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, please subscribe for more. And we're on this one, you guys. Peace out.